Wake up kicking myself, exhale cause I heard it helps. But same old way I felt, resting on my shoulders, cold night in a sleepless bed, white eyes with a glaze of red. I'm going round and round, it won't let me out. Sing when I swim, I'm drowning in. I sing when I swim from the pressure in my. When I swim, I'm drowning in. I sing when I swim from the pressure.
The Nocturne's going in on the back line, but Tarek is trying to save the front line. They take it. They get the team. Baron Buddies gets the Baron, and now they're going to get the team fight for sure. Zen comes in. It doesn't. Oh, the Jinx is so low. She gets a kill. LeBlanc comes in. Malphite does not do enough damage, and JFK is just alone. Oh, they're trying to 2v1 JFK. That's not going to work out for you. But he goes in onto Aphelios, gets the knockup. Malphite goes in. The cleanse from Aphelios means that he can live a little bit longer. The melee healing plus the red gun healing plus the heal healing. Red has played really well, but it's hard to play this lane whenever your jungler is not here and their jungler is, and that will be a kill onto the shot. Really low health though. Vel'Koz is here. What is he doing? Red dies. What is that? Flash, and it looks like the Shy will not live here. Oh, that he barely stuns. I'm not sure if Parade is tinky enough to just walk away. Gets the stun off, sure. Hello, welcome to LXC. This is the Arbiter League, week 4 for the winter split. I'm here with Rex, question mark, indeed, the color caster that we could get, and I'm Scarlet, and we're bringing you today TD Poro versus RAWR.
This is going to be an exciting match, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it seems like you may know one of these teams or two, or at least played with some of the players a bit.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the top lane matchup, though, honestly.
No, it'll be exciting to see kind of JFK and, see what he's got going on. I think that for TD and seeing what he can do is going to be, we might see something surprising today.
Yeah, for people who were here last week, whenever we did Arbiter, JFK really popped up every game, even though TD Poro only won 2 of them. But Torden on RAWR has been nonstop winning games for them. I think RAWR is in first place for the league currently. And I'm not sure if TD is going to be able to dethrone them, but if they do, it's going to be through JFK, in my opinion.
I would definitely see. I think Doki's been, pretty strong in terms of RAWR and commanding the rest of his team. So I'm excited. I think there has been a lot of banter going on in a lot of the different chats, and I'm excited to see what happens between, TD and RAWR.
Yeah, but the rest of the team as well. I mean, yeah, you mentioned Doki. Very interesting to see what he pulls out. He played Zach a lot in the first 2 weeks, but then pulled out some interesting things for week 3. Not sure if it's going to be that. It looks like we're already going to get into drafts, so we'll have to see. I'm also interested in what Verinda will pick, because she picks a lot of team-based characters, it feels like, or just whatever the team really needs. Nocturne already banned for TD Poro.
Yeah, I'm curious what they're going to take off of TD's plate and what they won't be able to play.
Swain is targeting
Swain?
Verinda? Yeah, Verinda played it last week, I think. And I'm not sure if Verinda's the person that I would target for TD Poro, especially since we mentioned JFK so much. Mordekaiser's also a ban at Doki. He played Mordekaiser last week, I believe.
I
Torden
saw
might have
that.
also played Mordekaiser, but I know Doki definitely did. Garen ban is more what I was expecting.
There we go. I was expecting to see something. Maybe they'll spread the love around a little bit, get some bans. So, I mean, okay, Corky in the mid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, I'm wondering what TD Poro is going to first pick, though. Last week, I believe they first picked Karma for the flex and for Verinda eventually. And then they flexed it support for the second game. But this time they take Maokai, which is one of RAWR's favorite picks. RAWR loves taking Maokai and then not showing where it is until the end. But it's not an option now because Poro's taking it.
yeah. I mean, I think Maokai right now in the meta is an extremely strong pick, and especially with its just insane amount of CC that you get from it. Personally, it's my number one go-to champion, so I'm excited to see what TD is gonna pull out here with it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I don't think that JFK is going to play it. Zach, however, probably is for Doki. There's been Zach top seen a little bit, but I doubt that Torden is going to pick it up this whenever Doki has been playing it so much and so successfully. It could be a flex pick, but I'm expecting that to be Doki Zach.
I do agree. I think I've seen Doki play it before. He's caught me off guard once or twice. I'm not gonna lie. But what is their second pick? They're running out of time on this one.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't know.
I mean, it looks like they're going in pretty heavy here. Are they
Yeah.
gonna just jump in on everybody?
Well, what's
Curious.
interesting is that Tristana is almost always mid in this meta, but I'm not sure that that's for Richter. I'm gonna have to check and see if their AD carry has been
Any
doing
quick
anything like
games
that.
coming out with
Um,
an Ashe ADC? Get a little CC pushback.
okay, so Richter did play Tristana last week, so it is possible that it's going to be mid.
I would say because we haven't seen a lot in bot lane in just the general meta, but I mean it's an
Hmm.
ADC that can definitely be moved there. And I think RAWR is definitely sticking with at least having one or two flex picks
Hmm.
because
Oh, that's Var's favorite thing.
yeah, they just love to do it.
Okay, that is 3 heavy CC champions.
Okay.
It's clearly Morgana support, Ashe 80 carry, and then probably Maokai jungle. Because again, I don't think JFK did pick out some really interesting picks. Like he did play the Scion, so he could play Maokai. But I think that it is going to be the jungle Maokai. So we're just wondering about the solo lanes for TD Poro.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see what Hoodie does in there because Maokai is somebody that can really set up a good gank and has great vision with saplings. Oh, Zyra.
I don't know how I feel about the Zyra. It feels a little odd to pick it into Ashe Morgana. I don't play either of those like supports usually.
I play
So I don't
I
know how
play
that
Zyra
matchup goes.
pretty heavily. Um, Zyra definitely provides a lot of damage that you know Zach or we haven't seen enough on the board, but it just
Mhm.
doesn't match what Tristana and Zach do in terms of going in and providing.
Sure, yeah.
But
Her goal's
if
gonna
they
be trailing a little bit behind the Zaki.
yeah, but if they needed that extra level of damage, but in lane, I could see the Zyra definitely providing, getting rid of black shields and, you know, s- setting up that extra damage to get rid of it.
My question is if JFK can handle this. There's gonna be a lot of bans on him, I'm assuming. And also he has to blind pick, assuming RAWR doesn't pick their top laner here. I'm pretty sure they want to pick their mid laner and make JFK blind pick and let the counter pick go to Torden. And I'm not sure if JFK will be able to handle the pressure.
I mean, either or, either top or mid are going to get one lane's going to have counter pick for each team. So it's what RAR wants to do. They are banning more top laners, so maybe they're going to pick top first, especially if they're going to allocate that level of those resources to bans there.
Yeah,
What's
I just
this?
think that making Verinda counterpick is not as painful as letting JFK counterpick. So if I was RAR, I would definitely pick my mid laner here. But I can definitely see the argument for just getting a priority top laner and accepting that JFK gets the counter. And again, the Zac could be
Yeah.
flex, although I doubt it.
I mean, personally, I would definitely have put more Vans against Brenda there, especially since if you expect to use the top counter pick there in the drafting process. So, what's RAR going to pick? Top or mid?
Yeah, and again, I totally missed this. The Tristana is probably mid, so they'll probably pick their 80 carry here, and they
There we
do
go.
with Samira. Wow. I would not pick Samira into that, honestly, but I'm not a Samira play either, I guess. But if there's one time where I'm not wanting to play Samira, it's into Ashe Morgana Maokai.
I can see it for like the team composition, especially with Zach and Trist in terms of the identity that RAR is going for. They definitely have that ability to like, let's go in, let's get this extra damage. I guess Zyra is the one that doesn't really fit that, but if you get a good
Wait a
snare,
second.
Diana,
Is that blind or Diana mid into Tristana? Um I don't know if that matchup is as amazing as the lock-in would suggest. It's
I mean,
definitely a volatile one.
I definitely know that that's probably Verinda's more comfortable champion.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be more directed towards a comfort pick, not really worrying about the counters so much. Because Tristana is very much a very safe lane with that being that range ADC.
Blind pick Renekton makes a lot of sense.
Especially with what's been banned.
Yeah. But I think that Torden is going to have something to say about it. Now, there's a lot of top laners that are gone, so it might not be the best counter, but I imagine that he's going to be able to pick something that is very comfortable. Yeah, that makes
Mundo.
sense. Dr.
Okay.
Mundo. He has been playing a lot of tanks, a lot of the standard stuff. Dr. Mundo is right up there. And I think that JFK struggles most whenever he can't punish the enemy tank. And if I'm TD Poro, I'm kind of leaving him on weak side. I'm really more worried about the mid lane matchup as a jungler. So I don't know if JFK will be able to pull this out like he has before.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes down to the island that's up there. I'm just curious from both perspectives. Like, I see RAWR's draft, and I'm seeing very much an identity from three of the champions. Mundo's very much on the island. Zyra fits that AP void that they have, but doesn't fit completely. I get you're missing that pocket. And then TD Poro's draft, I'm seeing some engage, some CC, and just a kind of a range of stuff where they can kind of do a lot of different things, but not anything one specific. But
Honestly, with the way these teams are set up, both the players and the drafts, I just feel like lane phase is going to be so important. I mean, you're
I
talking
mean,
about Samira, Tristana, Zach, Maokai,
true.
Diana. Like, these lanes are going to determine so much more so than usual. I don't think I think at 20 minutes we'll know the likely winner of the game.
That's fair. Currently looking
Um,
at this draft, what are you gonna expect in terms of a grade rating for both Poro and RAR here?
um, I'm expecting mostly for the junglers to really look mid, and then bot lane as well. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you can tell TD Poro like just play it slow. You're gonna be hassled by Samira Zyra, but if you don't die, then the game is in a really good spot. But if this Diana cannot get some help against Tristana, I don't see how she gets to play the game. So that's kind of what I see whenever I see this draft. What do you think?
I I very much think that RAR drafted a very strong early engage, and then Poro didn't respond with equivalent disengage elements, things that could
Mm-hmm.
protect, and definitely picked more of like, hey, this is my lane matchup. This is what I'm going to focus on specifically in lane and hope that I'm going to get what I need resource wise and play the game just from a communications standpoint. But there's an identity for RAR, and Poro doesn't necessarily have the identity that's the opposite, which they could have drafted towards.
Yeah, it does feel like Ash is just going to be at the back of the fight wondering what's going on while there's just this big ball of things going in. And then, I don't
Morgana's
know.
going to
I
be there
mean,
with her. I mean,
mm-hmm.
they're very much going to be sticking together, and Morgana definitely has those elements to like hold somebody off, especially if she gets a few items. Rylai's, I think, is going to be critical, especially for the level of peel that needs to be there. Maokai has the CC and can peel to some level, but it just doesn't. He wants to go in. He wants to be a
Yeah,
tree. He
exactly.
wants to jump in. He wants to root that that target. And I'm seeing that it's going to be coming down to Hoodie and be like, hey, are you going to engage or are you going to peel? And he's going to have to pick.
It might just be a story of who goes overextends first. Like, does Samira dive
True.
in too deep and then suddenly all this comp works magically because Diana, yeah, she wants to be on the back line, but the back line's on your face now, so it works perfectly. Meanwhile, if Diana and Renekton go too far in, there's nothing that can stop RAR from just destroying the squishy people. I don't know. It's interesting. We will have to see. I think that laning phase is going to determine a lot, though, and we will have to see that after we return from the break. after delay so we can get in the game.
Absolutely.
alcanzar. Siempre hay que descubrir la manera de vivir. Este lugar, esta tierra, tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer. Tiene tanto que ofrecer.
All right, welcome to TD Poro versus RAWR. Got some interesting item choices already. Actually, they're not that interesting. They're pretty standard. I like the longsword from Samir, but the pots is kind of interesting. But you know what? Wait, actually, let's talk about the Renekton possibly face checking into Doom. This is really interesting. You don't usually see 5 stacks up on top lane, but they really want
No.
to set JFK behind. They're gonna find him. I think JFK spots him first.
I definitely feel like they have their target. They
He has
want
to
to
get
come
E.
out
He
for
has to get
blood.
E. He has to get E. He's rooted. He has to get E. He has to flash now, and now he's dead. He got Q. JFK's down. I feel like all he had to do there was get level E over the wall, and they would not have committed anything. But he just wanted to not get that for lane, and I respect that. I mean, laning as Renekton with E versus Mundo sounds like hell as well. So
Yeah, I think he just got caught, and it just did not work out for the best.
it's okay though, because Tristana got the kill. She's not back yet. She's got Doran's blade. And I think that Diana has a chance to maybe influence the lane before the Richter can get that gold spent. So it might be okay, but it definitely feels bad as Verenda. Meanwhile, is Torden really late top lane?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of pulling back and just... Yeah, I mean, he's listening. How much is he missing there?
I should have checked, but I think that he
I mean,
probably
he
missed
looks
like
like he's
1 or
down
2.
3 CS.
Not even the gold. I think he missed XP for some of that. JFK's level 2 does
Yeah.
not decide to use it yet, but Torden's not reacting. However, JFK went with E and Q. There's no stun, but Torden has to also flash. And that's simply just from being late and not respecting the level 2. Oh, look at this, by the way. I wasn't paying attention. Hoodie is in RAR's jungle. Meanwhile, Doki is looking top lane, but his laner is not in position to do anything. Some trades bot lane, as we can see. But I'm really interested to see how Doki reacts. Does he know that his jungle's taken in the bot side? He's only taken 3 camps right now. So we wanted an early gank on the Renekton without flash. But there's no follow-up. So he has to back off, go to his Raptors, and he has no idea that his Gromp is also gone.
I think this is
Meanwhile,
excellent.
this bot gank. Flash in, Q glance, there's no flash over there. Now Red goes for the cleanse flashes Scout, but Lunar Paw does go down. Decipher gets it, so it's not the worst for RAR, but it does seem like Hoodie Man has had the better jungle pathing so far. JFK is also getting this really nice trade, gets a kill that I wasn't even expecting. And suddenly Torden, the leader of RAR in a way, the one that definitely get a lot of their leads, is down. Brenda face checking into Doki. Remember, Tristana does not have any items from the kill, so this shouldn't turn really into anything, but it's annoying for Verinda.
Yeah. I think this is definitely what we wanted to see, right? From top, is we wanted to see JFK come out with this, you know, a really aggressive lead, and Renekton provides exactly that. But like you said, if it comes down to later game with Mundo,
I mean, Doki has spent so much time here, right? His path has been blue buff, red buff, Krugs, Raptors, then the top crab. And he has just been looking to kill JFK, and all he's done is harass Verinda.
True. But there definitely is, you know, Doki not taking blue side, even though he sees it, just getting vision and leaving.
Yeah, I think he was a little bit worried because Richter was not in position to help him. but it definitely does raise some eyebrows. I mean, he didn't know that Hoodie hadn't backed yet. Like, Hoodie still has not backed, is taking these camps really slowly because of it. But it's possible you come in and there's a Maokai with what, like Ruby Crystal at least, maybe a Cinder. So I don't hate backing off, but it definitely does make his CS score look really bad right now.
Yeah, no, I think
Look at
Hoodie
this wave.
definitely.
Doki has to come now, by the way. I don't know what Torden does if JFK just freezes.
Do you think he's? I mean, we're definitely seeing Doki sit top.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Mid
the
lane,
best?
however, Verinda looking a little aggressive, despite being down on gold.
It's early enough. I mean,
I think this is a gank mid while Doki takes Void Grubs. I don't know. It doesn't look like the angle's quite there. Meanwhile, JFK going into a minion wave. I don't know if this is smart. There's so much healing, and there's 20 minions hitting him. That is
yeah,
a
I think
kill
he's
for
gonna.
Torden. That's the problem with walking into like 7 caster minions and thinking that you can win a trade just because you've been winning all this time, you know?
I think
Meanwhile, they're going for this, but Tristana could walk up any time. She's not reacting yet. Doki's low, has passive. They do get the Void Grabs entirely. Maokai goes down. Doki hasn't even used his passive yet.
Verinda is
Tristana's
not
here. Verinda is
they're
in so much
so
trouble. I don't think
low.
Renekton can help. Renekton has flash, but Doki jumps in, gets the Q, gonna get the auto attack off. They might get Doki passive, but there's no way JFK can win this, right? Stuns the Tristana. Tristana jumps out,
True.
flash in, but the Tristana ult is too much. They're gonna get Doki passive. Not even that. And it's just disaster for TD Poro.
I mean, the sheer damage that was coming through, and the fact that they minuscule life. It's very close, but in the end, RAWR took it, and they came out favorable.
It was so interesting because Hoodie Man was going for a gank on mid, and I think it had potential. But then he decided to contest the grubs while JFK took a 1v1 that just didn't quite work out. And once JFK lost the 1v1, it just doesn't seem prudent to go for the objective. And it almost works out because JFK was able to teleport, but he's just too late.
Not much you can do there.
So now RAWR gets all 3 Void Grubs. Dragon is still up. Usually you see the Void Grubs taken for Dragon, but instead it's just a CS lead for Hoodie Man. And I don't think that's really going to cut it in Maokai versus Zac. Meanwhile, gank comes in. I'm not sure if this really goes anywhere. Doki still has passive, however. Brenda walks out, but Hoodie Man is here. She jumps in. Not sure if...
Yeah, Hoodie's only really there to make sure that somebody steps back and really doesn't go all in on Brenda. But Brenda definitely had some extra damage, and she had stuff on cooldowns. So... But with flash up,
how's this 1v1 go now? This Mundo has suddenly got such a glow up, right? There was that solo kill that JFK got, and then now Mundo has 3 kills and 2 assists.
I think the top lane, they did exactly what they wanted to do.
Verinda goes in aggressively, actually gets the R off. Richter gets to jump out, but it's not going to be a dive onto Verinda. Verinda says, "No, I'm going to take the initiative."
I think what Verinda needs to do here is definitely punish as much she can this Tristana, so that she's going to be the new threat that they have, because Mundo's going to be able to bully Renekton for the rest of the game here.
Yeah, I don't know if JK has gotten the memo, though. He keeps on taking these trades, and Mundo heals a lot more.
I think Renekton's going to be good for until Mundo gets like some hard items on there. Don't get me wrong, Balmy Cinders and, you know, some armor is going to really get you through some of it. Renekton can still come through. Oh, we're coming in.
What about the 2v1, though?
There's
still a passive up for Torden. It's not actually up. He gets stunned and then rooted. There's nowhere for him to go. The ult's not going to heal him enough. They want to give it to JFK. Is that a mistake? Torden actually flashes because he believes he can do something with this.
There we go.
It's just a dead flash and a shutdown for JFK.
That's what they wanted, right? JFK came in the space and made it. But will it be enough? Because, Mundo's going to come back with full items, right?
Right. Nope, I do like how this matchup has been so interesting because they've taken such intense trades with each other. Torden even flashed there just because he believed that he could kill JFK, and that's a really risky move, but he goes for it, you know?
I mean, they risked it earlier, and they came out clean.
Verinda taking red buff. I don't know if someone told her that she's the mid laner. That's an
Yeah, I
interesting
didn't.
steal. Richter's probably fine here, but doesn't get quite the punish that he wants because Hoodie Man was able to cover. But Doki's here. This Q is going to be massive. Gets it off.
There we go.
Verinda still has ultimate. Gonna go for it, but I don't think she has the damage. Maokai ult comes in. Tristana gets the kill, and there's no way Hoodie Man can win this. And he will also go down to Tristana.
That Tristana ult was perfectly timed. It gave Tristana the space that she needed to be protected and safe and make sure the execution on the kill.
We're gonna see both sets of Void Grubs taken before the first dragon. This is so odd, almost. It does mean Tristana with 6 Void Grubs is pretty powerful. But the dragon
I think we're
stacking
gonna
is gonna wait.
see. I think when it comes down to later games, we're gonna definitely see Tristana burning through towers, getting as much as she can off of the map, and then maybe Brenda can take advantage if she's soloed, like just on a solo lane, gets caught out. We will see.
JFK gets a nice crash off there to force Torden to just go get the mini wave, even though it looked like they wanted to 2v1 him. He timed it pretty well. Gets crash off right after the Void Grub, so there's no chance to punish him. However, he is staying a little far out, but the arrow comes in on Zyra, as I'm talking about top lane. The ult out from Zyra is not going to save her if Ashe flashes in. Samira, she can 1v2 in these situations, though. Kills Decipher, kills Ashe. Brenda going in again, does not have the ultimate, though. What is going to happen? Just a death.
I mean,
let's 1v1 top lane. Wait, these junglers don't do damage, right? They just kind of sit at each other, try to steal camps, and then...
But Tristana does damage.
Oh, Rukter is here, and he says, I will be your sword.
And Hoodie just steps back. He's like, ooh, maybe not today. This is not my time right now. We got some brawl back in the top lane.
Oh my gosh. Torden is actually going to go down 1v1 again, maybe. Ultimate down, so he is healing a lot. The mini wave isn't quite with JFK. But where does Torden go from here, right? Like, I guess he just CS's under tower. It's fine. But Maokai is lurking.
They're going to die for it?
The confirmation that Zac is bot lane. The stun comes in, the root comes in, and it's just a kill for JFK. Almost a solo kill.
Is he going to die here?
Don't take, okay.
It happens to the best of us. Sometimes you see out the minions and they're not there. There we go.
I think Richter might go aggressive here. Verdun is here again with Doki. Meanwhile, I mean, she's just dead.
I think that's like a very much like with Zac on the board, right?
Yeah.
I think mid laners and bot laners, need to be very specific on where they're warding because it's like, hey, you're playing against a champion that can come from a different angle that you're not used to.
Yeah, especially after they saw the dragon taken by Zac.
Yeah. Because, I mean, same thing with like Fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
We got a flash.
Oh, flash forward. There's no... But Richter has flash. He's going to buffer the jump, surely. I think he's fine. Doesn't even have to use anything. So it's just JFK flash and teleport for getting a minion wave and scaring Tristana for a little bit.
I mean, I guess like in lane, flash is not going to be as critical against Mundo, especially this stage of the game, because it's going to be harder to kill him without assistance from Hoodie. So I guess if you're going to risk it on Tristana, Samira, or Zyra.
Yeah.
If I'm JFK.
It's just interesting to try that whenever Rukter has flash, and it's Tristana, so even if you get the stun, she can buffer it if she plays correctly. So it's definitely banking on her playing incorrectly. And Rukter did not play it incorrectly. Oh, this is a stun here. I think this is too far from Lunar Paw. The ultimate's not going to stop anything. Samira can do some crazy fights, but not this one. So they do get Lunar Paw. Husky dying to plants? Okay, it doesn't happen. Meanwhile, Rukter just gets some alone time with mid lane. I think that Rukter's like, yeah, I don't care. Kill my bot lane. I'm going to take this tower. Like, Verinda didn't even get a piece of that, by the way. No assist, no kill. So now she's taking, the tower a little bit and some minion waves, but Rukter has gotten his second tower and is completely fed. JFK won't go in on that, of course, because Rukter has flash. And they get the Herald as well, so that's 6 grubs, the Herald, the Ocean Drake. I mean, they're getting everything on RAWR.
I mean, I think they allocated a lot of resources top because they wanted this. And I think that, you know, Poro didn't prioritize dragons. I think they should have let JFK do his thing. Are we getting...
Oh, this is going to be huge. Decipher and Ash get knocked up. The all-in from Samira is going to kill the entire bot lane of TD Poro. Hoodie walking the wrong way. He might be in trouble too. Dash forward, but he is pretty tanky. Samira ult looking kind of silly, but Hoodie gets the flash out, and it's okay. But
I think
yeah,
it just,
I mean,
yeah. It's
what are
coming
they
in
face
from that
swapping there?
aggressive play.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to try to go for the kills, you want it. I mean, just use it on Samira because it's going to be on cooldown and it's going to be up for, you know, the next fight.
And then
I
a
think-
familiar sight, Rukter alone killing a tower. Brenda trying to get a little aggressive, but she is a level down, 2 levels down just before that level up. I mean, this tower probably falls regardless of if she's here.
I think
Zach
this
coming
is...
in for the dive. This is the wrong person to dive, though. Ultimate from Renekton. Stun comes down. Q comes down. It doesn't work out exactly for JFK. Brenda going in whenever the tower falls over. Rukter absolutely wins these. But Maokai is here. Follows the W with his own W. Flash out from Rukter means that he is safe. Morgana flashes forward just to send a message, but it doesn't quite connect. And RAWR is going to make the lead so massive that TD Poro have objective bounties.
I mean, that's what they wanted, especially with all the Void Grubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tristana can just burn these towers, get objectives, and have pretty much pressure as if it's a split lane for most of the game on an ADC.
Yeah, Richter is absolutely popping off and will be untouchable. If he gets anywhere close to level 18, this game is going to be very difficult for TD Poro.
But I think TD Poro was doing what they wanted to do there. They had to try to go and, you know, get rid of Tristana, take it off the map. If we see it's caught out, they need to collapse quick and then respond just as quick to whatever lane's being pushed by the other team. It just didn't work out perfectly because Richter just with the ult from Tristana gave him the space he needed, kill.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the Zac pick is really showing up this game. It didn't quite do anything too early until Verenda wanted to go aggressive, and suddenly Zac was there making her lose everything. And not a lot of junglers can do that. I mean, there are certainly a lot of gank-heavy junglers, but Zac is unique in just how oppressive he can be if he wants to camp you.
We're just, I think, RAWR taking all these objectives, pushing the lead that they have, taking it, you know, step by step, really shows.
I mean,
that...
I think that TD gets 2 towers for this. It's not the worst. I mean, this is exactly what I would want the team to be doing whenever they can. They might get stuck here, however, just staying a little bit long. But Maokai Ultimate just is such a good disengage tool that they get top tower, they get mid tower really low.
Somebody fat fingered.
You know, it's not the worst, right? It's just the second Drake for RAWR, and you're on Rukter. Rukter has jump, does not have flash, however. But there's so many people coming. I don't think JFK can win this, and there's so many people chasing him. He's just absolutely dead. Will he get any of the squishy AD carries first? No, because Doki shows up, and that will be the end of JFK.
I think he just pushed up a little too far. He definitely was going for, you know, getting.
He's going for the miracle play, right? You get the shutdown on Rukter. That's 1,000 gold. You might have a chance. So, you know, screw it. Just maybe they're not really paying attention on their recalls. It's not the worst. I mean,
and we do have a rift drop in bot lane right now with Tristana.
Yeah, I don't think Ash is going to be able to hold this.
Yeah, especially with Zac in that lower side jungle covering anything. He's going in.
Doki's going for it. Ash is absolutely knocked up. Absolutely knocked up again. The Q is going to land. You have to imagine. Oh, no Q, just the ultimate. So Ignite comes down from Doki, and Husky actually lives. The tower may not have the same fate, though. Oh, the regank is going to be massive. You have to spell shield perfectly. Doesn't do it. Now Husky and Morgana are both in trouble. Flash forward from Leader Paul. Ult in. Decipher barely lives with a shield. Now Hoodie is in position to punish everyone. JFK's behind. This is actually really bad for RAWR. They get Lunar Paul. Will they get more? They decide to back off.
I think that there was a moment there that Tristana definitely stepped back, and they could have taken a little bit more on
really going for an all-in. I don't know if she wants to do this. Stops the back at least, so it's like net positive, but very scary. JFK is getting collapsed on, but it's JFK, so he might be okay. Not quite. it is getting to the point where he is not tanky enough to deal with all these AD carries, and he's not going the full damage build either. That just kills AD carries. So you get stunned, you get knocked up, and you're gonna fall.
I mean, JFK definitely in this space, maybe not the full damage build, especially with, being 4-7. He needs to step back, like, all right, what other, items can I get to make sure that I can team fight a little bit more? Because now that I've got against a Mundo, who's going to be big, I'm, longer sustained fights and not just be able to burst. So, and I think we should
TP in, they're
see.
gonna try to go for the 20-minute Baron. Verinda might spot it out, might also get caught. They definitely see Zyra and blue side jungle walking kind of weird, so I think they know, but Maokai's on the wrong side of the map. So this should be a pretty free Baron take.
I mean, they're all at the bottom side of the map right now. They're
Yeah,
now
they know
just
now, but it's
transitioning.
like way too late, right? Ash Arrow is not going to be able to do anything. They get the recall before any threat would come, so it's just a free Baron for RAWR. Oh, Hoodie Man, I understand thinking that they're not going to get greedy and they're just going to recall, but Doki is the kind of person that will jump on you after doing Baron. He does not care.
We do have Verinda right in the corner, but you do have vision for the top two between.
Yeah, and there's a Tristana and Zyra that will absolutely kill you if you try to commit any time killing Doki, especially whenever Doki has passive. Hoodie might try something. He does have flash. I can tell that he's looking for the flash W, but there's just not enough follow-up to pull the trigger. And Husky's relegated to Dr. Mundo duty, which is just awful for him. However, at least JFK has something going on, so they're trading inner towers, which is probably net positive for TD Poro in like the worst kind of way. But the inhibitor tower going down makes it just absolutely not worth it. Torden still has passive, so the stun will not be reached. The root comes out, but there's no damage because they have to back off. And Verinda's having to give up an inhibitor tower. Here comes the Maokai ult, but I think they just tank it. They don't care. Torden walks in. There's no structures here. There's not enough CC to really stop him. Now Doki comes in, has passive, and look at Samira. She's not even in this fight, but once she is, it will be massive. But it doesn't even get to that point. Doki's rooted, or Torden rooted might go down, which is kind of funny, but it goes down to the support. Meanwhile, Verinda can't even gets the assassination on the 1000 gold. The actual passive here from Zac is not good enough, but they might finish the game before TD Poro can capitalize. JFK doesn't have TP, so the game's just over. Brian has it.
I think right there they needed to just push one lane and hold something back, but RAWR definitely provided great value there, moving the map. Tristana definitely took a lot of objectives there. I think that they played Zac exceptionally well. Do have to give it to
interesting
Doki.
because Doki's pathing did not work out for the first like 2 or 3 levels. And then suddenly, just like I said, the explosive mid lane. I think Doki was like, you know what, screw it. Torden's just gonna do Torden things. And he did. He did Dr. Mundo Torden things. It was fine. But Zac suddenly being mid lane instead of putting all that pressure top lane completely erased the lead that TD Poro was hoping to claw on the top side. So that Zac pick ended up working out really well. I mean, I would have said it was a little questionable like 10 minutes into the game or 7 minutes into the game, but then suddenly just completely dominated.
It provided value. I think that if I were to give somebody MVP in that game, I'm gonna have to give it to Doki. He definitely created space in a lot of team fights. His engages were very much on point. He got underneath people's towers, made people a little bit uncomfortable. And I think you could see it later in the game from Verinda stepping back a little bit further, not knowing exactly where Doki was going to come from. And that gave Torto space to like just take Tristana, take away towers. And I think that they ran that 2 first picks really well.
I also think that Hoodie Man was just on the wrong jungler almost. I mean, it was good for the team, but it's just not how he played the jungle. He was playing more like an econ mode almost. I mean, the ganks were there, don't get me wrong, but having a CS lead in Maokai versus Zac is not as advantageous as it would be on other junglers.
So for that,
I mean,
for that game 1, who do you think you're going to give MVP for?
I mean, Torta did pretty well, but yeah, actually, I got to speak up for Richter for a little bit because yes, Doki did make the ganks happen, but Richter was really well baiting all of them. was able to push down turrets and find openings to get all of that gold lead. And I mean, like you said before, the Tristana ultimates are very good. So I mean, I'm not gonna say it was MVP worthy, but I just want to put Richter in the conversation, you know?
Yeah, no, close second on there. And I
Mm-hmm.
definitely thought from TD Poro, JFK did a lot, even with getting pressured multiple times and having that lane really be like, hey, RAWR came out, tried to stop him. JFK definitely held in there as long as he could.
Yeah, I think if I was gonna change anything about the draft other than the jungler for TD Poro, it would just be, you know Doki's gonna pick something that's gonna try to influence the lanes. So don't pick lanes that are so easily influenced, right? I mean, the Renekton was able to come back from the early Zac pressure just by, I don't know, somehow pulling a trick out of his hat where he
True.
solo killed Maokai, or solo killed Mundo. But you have Diana versus Tristana, and Diana wants to go in, but Zac is there every time. And I don't care if you ban Zac. If it's Sejuani, if it's Trundle, Doki will be there. So I think that, it's just you have to pick a little less volatile of a lane mid lane if you're going to play around your top lane and you're going to have your jungler play more econ focused.
Absolutely. I think for me personally, going into game 2, it's flipping sides. And so I think we're going to see a Maokai ban because clearly TD Poro did not, we did not see, Maokai got picked first round.
Yeah, I
But
expect Doki to pick Maokai immediately if it's
so I
open.
think they're probably going to use a band to get rid of Maokai so they don't have to worry about it. Because I think if you're going to force something on Hoodie like that,
Yeah, I think that we really want to see JFK get the counter pick, some bans targeted towards Doki or maybe Tordian. And I mean, the bot lane played pretty well. I mean, you're playing against Samira's Zyra and you're not the focus of conversation the entire game. I mean, that's probably a good thing.
true.
um, so I I think that it's really just all about the top side of the map, and I think that draft should reflect that.
We will definitely see what side select is going to happen.
It looks like TD Poro is selecting red side.
Okay. So I think that
So,
very much they're going to prioritize that counter pick for JFK, give him those resources so that he can do what we wanted him to do game 1.
hmm and maybe JFK can pull a trick out of the hat again. I mean, he got solo killed, which, yeah, it really affects the mid lane because Tristana got the kill. But he's showing up with no flash. Zac in that tried or that part of the jungle immediately, and he still gets a solo kill on Torden. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
you give this man counter pick, you give him a little bit of jungle pressure, and he will deliver. I'm pretty sure.
I think
Then again, I
switching,
mean,
yeah,
Torden
I think
also
switching
delivered a
focus
lot
to
of
the,
stuff.
yeah, I think switching focus to the bot lane. I think that, we didn't see TD Poro's lane really get a lot of kills and was really passive. I think Ashe and Morgana really fit that well. We just saw some beautiful ults from Samira and getting all those kills. I know we didn't have a lot of focus on that game 1, but I'm curious what it'll look like during game 2. If, JFK's got counterpick, are they going to make a little bit more of a shift focus down more to the bot lane this time?
hmm
If we are switching sides, are they going to leave Maokai up? Are they going to let Doki take that heavy engaged champion?
I just really want to see Hoodie Man not on Maokai. I felt like this was true last week. Let me just look at my notes just to make sure. But was it him that was playing Xin Zhao last week? It could have been someone else. I might be just totally wrong. I'm just gonna check real quick. Okay. Week 3. Yeah. So last week he played Xin Zhao, which is another ganking jungler similar to Maokai, and he just absolutely econned it up, which like great play, except he's playing Xin Zhao. And then he plays Poppy, which hopefully he plays out here as well. And suddenly this guy is ganking like crazy with Dark Harvest Poppy. Like he's playing Poppy like Xin Zhao, and it's very confusing what happened there. but it worked a lot better. And so I'm hoping that he can pull out maybe not necessarily the champion Poppy, but that playstyle would go really well in this match.
I mean, we will see. I think that Poppy is definitely a champion that Hoodie can play, and if it's going to stop Doki from these heavy engaged champions, there's something to be said about that. I personally would really like to see TD Poro pull out a fully disengaged comp, because if
Yeah.
RAWR's going to play these heavy engaged teams, because we know Doki loves engage, we know he wants to go in. Maybe TD Poro pulls out something that's like, hey, back up, get out of my face, and maybe that makes a little bit more space, and they can gain a little bit more control and rhythm in game 2.
Looks like we're gonna get into draft soon and figure out what's going on. I do expect to see some of those jungle bans against Doki.
I
But what
definitely
do you
expect to
think?
see a Maokai ban, absolutely. If they're not going to have it first pick, I think that. But my question is, who are they going to give up? Do they want to give Nocturne to Doki? Are they going to let him have Zac? Like, what are they going to let him engage on? Because it definitely seems that that is the rhythm that RAWR is working for.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they were so close to neutralizing the Zac, and then suddenly Doki blew up the game. You know, it's like TD Poro's draft was so close to making it work, and then just the Diana kind of stuck out. Not necessarily like, oh, don't play that champion or whatever. It just didn't. It worked well with the team comp, but it didn't work well with the lane matchup. And the lane matchup was basically what decided the game. Um, so I think if they're gonna pick the Diana again, they've got to pick a little bit more around that volatility, or at least play around it.
True. I mean, the mid matchup, especially from Diana versus Tristana, you don't really know what that's gonna feel like. It's not a very common matchup, but if it's a comfort pick, might as well keep it. Not quite sure how you want to move over
I
that.
think if you keep it, you want to ban Tristana. Like, just throw one ban towards that. I feel like Tristana is just well positioned to punish Diana whenever a jungler comes, in the way that some mages aren't. If you're against Syndra or um, I don't know what the common mages are in this meta. Really, just like
I mean, you could
anything.
Victor's still there. I mean, there's tons
Mhm.
of options, but I think it they're worried about Corki. Tristana functions similarly to that in terms of being able
That's
to
true.
poke you out,
That's true.
burn a tower, and move and just get out. Mid lane was worried about the engage to some level because they seems like they're not picking champions that don't at least give some amount of space.
All right, it looks like we are in the draft, and the Swain ban immediately from Murd. They do not want for Verinda to have that comfort pick that's a little bit safer. And I respect that. I mean, you put her on the other comfort pick, you see what happens whenever they put a little bit of pressure on her. And that's just the matchup. It's not even like something she did wrong. They do ban the Zac though, which is almost necessary, it feels like at this point.
It is definitely that heavy engage. I think they felt it the first game. I think they were like, nope, we don't want it to happen again. So are they going to leave Corki up? I understand them not worrying about the Mordekaiser round 1 if they're going to give JFK a counter pick, right? So he has options to deal with that. But are they going to 3-ban Doki here?
Oh, they might. A Moo ban. Um,
So they still have Nocturne
Interesting.
and they still have the Maokai.
Yeah, but Nocturne is a little bit. I know that he does the same thing late game as Zac, but there was something really annoying about level 3 and level 4 Zac that just doesn't come true with Nocturne. And then level 6 Nocturne obviously is a nightmare, but by that point, it's a little bit easier to have some safety or stability in the solo lane. So maybe they're accepting the Nocturne and trying to use the early jungle pressure that Hoodie can bring out. They do ban the Corki. Expecting a Maokai pick, but it's actually the blind pick Mordekaiser.
So are we expecting this to go to Doki? Doki's historically known for more jungle? Or are we going straight top and not worrying about counter pick?
You know what Doki is historically known for? He's known for flex. I think he just
Fair.
loves the idea of flex. So I believe that even RAR is not sure where it's going. They just know that TD Poro can't easily pick around it. But
Big
they
pick.
are picking MF, which is just completely different champion than Ash.
Personally, I would love them to play Maokai support. We're not sure where Mordekaiser's going to go, so maybe still take away Maokai, but don't give it to Hoodie. Let Hoodie go on Poppy or something else if they're worried about engages. Obviously, Mordekaiser doesn't really have that level of engage. So we're seeing a little bit of a different draft from RAWR this game.
I do like changing the bot lane up a little bit. I mean, their bot lane was fine, but if you make the bot lane a pressure point suddenly, like Doki has 3 pressure points, you know, I mean, he had to pivot from the top lane to the mid lane, but if you make it so that way bot lane is also under constant pressure, he may just crack.
Nautilus, big pick. Lots of CC. Hard engage is definitely a good synergy with MF. I think that it allows them to have that extra pressure. Another Tristana pick.
I really want to see Poro pick a different mid laner. Diana would be acceptable because you have made enough changes that it might just be a little bit different, but it would have to come with a different pick for Hoodie as well. Whoa.
Fiora, that is bold.
It is very bold. You know,
Okay,
I kind of think that they're
I
thinking
like
that
it.
Doki on Mordekaiser is a lot more manageable than him on Nocturne. So they're like, counterpick me if you want, but put Doki on Mordekaiser. I don't know how Fiora versus Mordekaiser actually is heavily Mordekaiser favorite, isn't it? Because he could just ult whenever Fiora ults.
I think that's definitely a lane that I have the least amount of experience on, but Mordekaiser can just put anybody in his ult, and all of a sudden, any team fight can change. So Mordekaiser in its own right on a team fight level will definitely change any 4v4, 4v 5v5, whatever, and just flip it. But it sounds like with the Fiora pick, definitely the heavy split pushing. So, but we have a very aggressive bot lane to kind of push out and make sure they have some objective control down there that they're going to have to respond to. Personally, I would love to see. We got a new ban and J4, so they're going after junglers right now. So they're
Yeah, so
expecting the Nord to go top.
yeah, it's such a weird draft choice because you're wanting the Mord to go top. You pick a counterpicked. Like Fiora does not do well in Mordekaiser, as far as I understand. Although people may have differing opinions on that. And then you ban junglers, but you don't even ban Maokai, right? Maokai's still available, so what's going on?
I think maybe they want to force that Mordekaiser top. I'm curious if JFK is confident enough in that matchup.
I suppose so. Yeah, it's definitely one of those matchups that even if it's bad, maybe you don't expect Torden to have played Mordekaiser into Fiora. And in that case, you can pick whatever you want and make it work. So the banning of junglers is so interesting because they didn't even ban the jungler that Doki's known for, but perhaps they're okay with it as well because they have such a good line of defense into the Maokai.
I think it's going to be evident here in terms of what their team composition is going to look like. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen with RAWR because you've got some disengaged. You don't have an identity yet from RAWR, and there's too much flexing to be like, hey, this is going there, this is going here. I think this is
Victor is a
exactly
really
what I
nice
wanted to
line
see.
pick,
I think
but
Victor here gives you a lot of potential in terms of ultimates, team fight, especially with the MF and Nautilus and all that CC it provides. I think that I personally would have waited it for the counter pick just in
yeah, that's
case.
what I was about to say. Like the picks are perfect, but the order is just a little off. I understand wanting to get the Fiora under the bans,
But
but
this also could
Victor
be they want to figure
here.
out exactly where Doki goes and gives
Mhm.
Hoodie the counter pick. Like, hey, if Doki's going to be on Mordekaiser or this, I want to make sure that I can pick either Poppy or something else. And, I think they want to focus Doki here in terms of giving Hoodie.
I mean, that is 4 Doki bans.
Yeah.
So it's clear that they have found their target, like target acquired. And there's the Maokai that we could have told you Doki was gonna play. But I guess they want him on the Maokai. Like maybe they have.
I mean, can then also still be flipped. I don't really know if Maokai can still go top.
I doubt that Torden wants to play Maokai into Fiora. It's possible though. It just doesn't. Well, let me check because it just doesn't seem like something Torden would really want to play. Play Pantheon, Dr. Mindo, and Set. Which
So we got a
yes,
Rammus pick
those are
here
pins,
from Hoodie.
but wait, I look away for 1 second and you're telling me there's a Rammus pick?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand why they waited. I get it now. I understand. You force them onto a low damage comp where Mordekaiser's your only magic damage. You get the Tristana mid like you wanted, and then you just pick Rammus.
I think that was a really good idea. I think that provides so much CC. He just builds anathemas or something for Mordekaiser, and then they don't have any AP damage. Plenty of CC from TD Poro. You do still have plenty in CC and an engage from RAWR as well. I think this is very much. There's a very clear team identity from Poro. RAWR, it's a little bit hit or miss, but I think you'll see more aggressiveness in the bot lane with the Twitch pick and Braum.
Well, that's the thing, because it was Samira, right? Like, bot lane was ignored almost, but it should have been explosive, so I'm not sure that it won't change this time either. But the Rammus probably wants to be on the bot side of the map. I doubt that he wants to gank either Mordekaiser or Maokai, and we will confirm which one of those is top lane whenever we get into it. But like, I mean, you want to be bot lane, right? You have Nautilus MF against Twitch Braum. That's like a dream gankable lane.
True. All right, so if you're gonna give a grade to the bot lane for Poro and RAWR, what are you thinking here?
I think that RAR, I mean, lane wise, I think they have like a B. But for team fight wise, with just how they got kind of counterpicked with the Nautilus, with the Fiora, it kind of goes down to a C for me. And then
Okay.
Poro, I mean, I really like the Misfortune first pick. And they did draft a team that kind of works around it, but there's so much weight on it. So it's like an A now, but if it doesn't do well in lane, suddenly it goes down to an F, you know? Like,
True.
there's a lot of expectations on them.
I definitely like Poro's bot lane. Came out strong, came out aggressive. I think it provides a lot of, game, just ultimates, just press R. I think Victor does the same thing, hits there. And then if there's any complications from peeling, you've got Rammus to go in or taunt somebody out. But
I
Mordekaiser is
really
going to
like the
come
mid
in.
pick. Victor is such a better adaptation into the Tristana. I mean, it's the classic, oh my god, boring, everyone goes to sleep mid lane. I mean, Victor can be exciting, but it's a lot safer whenever you're talking about a jungler that loves to find a lane and just bully it. So I think that Verinda will do a lot better on Victor than she did on Diana. And it still has the same explosive AoE potential that's augmented by the Misfortune ult.
I do agree on that one. Because with Victor also, you do have that level of wave clear.
Yeah. Okay, it is going to be a remake. So it'll be a little bit delayed. I was gonna say it was
I was like, I
Dragonfrost,
didn't
but
see it. Thought I saw a J4 there. I didn't see it in the stages.
You're not allowed to change your pick, as it turns out, after the draft. Um, so we'll get that sorted out. We have a little bit extra time to talk about the champions. I don't know what's going to be top lane. I still think it's
Yeah,
Mordekaiser. I still think it's Mordekaiser. I mean, it could be J4, but
I'm
so
curious if they're going back to the drawing board. They're like, hey, we haven't shown it quite yet. We can still move it around. But I think that Mordekaiser in the jungle is probably the better bet there, especially since Doki. If Mordekaiser goes on the top, you have an AP threat. Doki still has engage on Maokai. It's still his favorite. But if you put Mordekaiser in the jungle, you have response against Rammus, right? Because you have AP threat. Your AP is now threated. It's a threat in all the lanes.
So for reference, Torden has 1 game on Mordekaiser and 0 games on Maokai. Meanwhile, Doki obviously has games on both. So it's really interesting. I don't know if they. I mean, it's not that I doubt that Doki would play Mordekaiser. It's more that I doubt Torden would play Maokai.
Fair.
But then again, you have Doki on your team. He's like, hey, if you are in the top lane, jungle, maybe even mid lane and support role, you gotta learn Maokai. You gotta make my flex a flex, okay? That's like the first thing he tells you on the team. So it could be possible that they are picking the Maokai top, and we will find out really soon, as long as we don't lock in J4 this time.
All
Okay,
right.
it is Mordekaiser top, Doki on Maokai. And that again is an interesting matchup. You picked that Fiora knowing it was probably going to be Mordekaiser top. Obviously, I mean, you picked it knowing it was going to be Mordekaiser or something worse, which is so wild to do that to JFK.
I get it. Like JFK definitely has that threat. You're on Fiora. You can split push. You can bully. You can play safe. You have all of these tools to deal with Mordekaiser. So I think it was really smart for them to do it, but it was very risky. But like, hey,
Yeah,
they assumed correctly.
I just wonder how the Mordekaiser ults are going to go, because early on, obviously, I don't think it matters that much in lane, other than that you can cancel Fiora ult. But it does feel like Mordekaiser can kind of just pick an engage tool, just take it out of the question. So it really is on JFK to make sure that Mordekaiser is weak enough that whoever he takes out doesn't get permanently taken out.
Yeah, I think that this is a really smart draft from Poro. I think they understood their assignment in terms of, hey, this is the only AP threat that's on the board. They picked Tristana. They don't have any AP, especially because they showed Braum on pick 3. They're like, oh, well, you're not going to have an AP threat. I mean, Twitch could. I haven't seen somebody do AP Twitch in a very long time, but I highly
true.
doubt
I
it.
didn't consider that.
I highly doubt it. If RAWR wants to swing that one, I'm gonna call it a wild guess, but I'm not gonna put any money on it.
We will have to see what runes he goes and what items he goes, and we will see after a quick delay, and then we will be back into game of RAWR versus TD Pro. RAWR up 1-0.
Game 2.
What you gonna do? Now let me see you go. I see you with it. Pop that. Now let me see you go. I see you with it. Pop that. Go. Now let me see you go. I see you with it. Pop that. Now let me see you go. 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 you do? What you gonna do with it? 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 What you gonna do with it?
I am broken, words unspoken. I'm afraid I'm drowning underneath. I got lost inside my feelings. Now I can't seem to find my way to breathe. Need you by my side. I can't sleep at night. Let's get lost in time. Leave it all behind. Love can get so rough. Hope that I'm enough. Let me be the one for you. I'm trying not to let go of my pride, but every time you come back, it's like falling down these lies again. This feeling that I have deep down inside. I just wanna be the one you need. And now I need you by my side. I can't sleep at night. Let's get lost in time. Leave it all behind. Love can get so rough. Hope that I'm enough. Let me be the one for you.
All right, welcome to RAWR versus TD Poro, Game 2. RAWR's up 1-0, the classic 5-point, except bot lane actually kind of spotting out Rammus right now. I don't think it means anything, though. So it's going to be a zero vision game, basically. They know where each other are, but they won't know where the jungler starts. Except for Hoodie Man spinning and dancing in front of Doki. Class.
I mean, I gotta love it. These skins, everyone has a skin on. There's definitely some skins we don't usually normally see that I'm a huge fan of. Doki taking a couple of shots.
This is classic Doki behavior.
I'm
It is
wondering if Doki was trying to
kinda-
force him to take taunt.
What is going on? They're going to invade here, but they're invading against Nautilus MF. They don't. TD Port doesn't know this yet. I think they have an inkling though, because Rammus is leaving his Raptors where he wanted to start. Ward goes out, spots everyone, but there's a blast plant. So I think Doki's just going to start at half health in the wrong side of the jungle. So it's not the end of the world. He is going to be about 5 seconds late on his clear at half health, but he's Maokai, so it shouldn't really matter. Meanwhile, Fiora getting Torrid to face check her. This is kind of what JFK wants, but I'm not sure if it's actually ideal. Oh, but dodges the Q, so it's good enough. Oh, hey, not quite the vital. If that vital, oh, okay, well, now Torrid is just absolutely in a world of pain, has not even gotten close to the minion wave, and now the vital's pointing towards JFK. That's just a disaster.
I think this is exactly what we want to see, right? Just
Yeah, I do
JFK
wanna note-
punishing.
Doki is going straight from Raptors to blue side, so both junglers are choosing probably to put a lot of effort into top lane. It could be the Hoodie's going full clear into bot lane, meanwhile, level 2 priority. But luckily, Husky and Decipher are not new to bot lane. They know what to do. They back up. It does look like Hoodie's full clearing into bot lane, but it's going to be quite a while before they actually get there.
I think it's a very late level 2 for them. I think if I were pushing, I would have gone a little bit earlier.
I'm curious what Doki is cooking here. Because Torden is a lot of trouble. I'm not sure the Maokai gank is going to be enough against Fiora. Like, she doesn't have flash, right? Ghost. So maybe you can cook something. Meanwhile,
Here's
Ram is
Rammus
here.
coming.
The Groot and the hook's gonna come out. The taunt comes out, so there's no way for Lunar to jump. Now, finally, the jump comes out with flash, but it's so low health that Hoodie doesn't even have to use a summoner's... Or, I guess he has Ghost anyways, but still. And that's first blood to the Hoodie for the superior pathing. Meanwhile, Doki looking for the invade on an empty jungle.
I don't think he was expecting them to clear.
Yeah, he was
Like,
not expecting
topside.
Rammus to do the full clear topside into one camp bot, 0 camp spot side actually, which makes sense. If I was Doki, I'd be like, what the heck's going on? But also JFK is going to be caught surprised because why is there a Maokai in my empty topside jungle?
I think it was a really missed opportunity, especially for RAWR there.
Oh, he goes in now. Here comes the Maokai, but Torden is pretty low. W's the thing, get the stun, but she can't quite get the vital. Torden flashes away. JFK still has Ghost, so it won't really turn into anything except for Torden flash. But that was so close to the outplay from JFK. Meanwhile, Verinda not quite getting the stun, but the trade's okay because Richter's already half health.
I'm expecting to see some good hooks here, but they're angling.
Oh man, Hoodie has just been absolutely out farming and out timing Doki at every turn here, and it doesn't really matter if Doki gets the influence on the lanes. But wow, that is quite the experience gap that's going to happen. Meanwhile, the hook onto the one you don't really want, Braum, but Rammus is here, doesn't quite match the flash, but Braum will fall again because he doesn't have any flash.
I think that TD Poro found their lane. I think that they need a focus bot, let JFK do his own thing. And then you've got Verinda, right, on a Victor who can just late game scale.
Okay, looks like the junglers are going to go mid. Doki's going to be a little bit late to this game. Richter cannot get out. Oh, just barely nicely times the jump. I doubt Decipher wants to go for anything weird, but it does put a lot of pressure onto Richter.
We do have Doki in the jungle.
Fish Doki. I don't think Doki wants to be here. Where's he going to go? I believe that he is spotted. Meanwhile, level 6 on top lane. Hoodie just finding Doki. Right clicks all around. Nautilus is really far away, so I'm not sure if this turns into anything. It's just really awkwardly walking out of the jungle. Verinda not coming because Decipher's here. So the CC is here, but I'm not sure the damage is. There goes the knockup. Doki is taunted. He is gonna finally fall like 20 minutes after being found. Richter is still under pressure under tower against a Victor with no mana though.
I think this is exactly where they want him to be, right? You've got...
I think JFK would rather be in a different lane. Like, this looks a little tough despite all that early lead. But yeah, for sure. TD Poro has drafted for this and has gone exceptionally well, except for maybe the fact that you have to play this Fiora into Mordekaiser now that Mordekaiser's 6 and you weren't able to get any pressure. Meanwhile, Braum is coming up, so it is going to be a 4v4 on the top side, and it's going to be a trade of 2-1 for Grubs.
I mean, I'd really like to see RAWR transition down here to get that dragon, especially since...
Oh, Redface might go for the 1v1. Gets the slow, levels up entirely on time, but MF just gets to walk away because MFW, so...
I think that's a completely different fight if Twitch is level 6. Just ults right there, done. I think
RAWR
that...
will pick up this dragon. They got one of the Void Grubs. I mean, it's pretty good trade objectively. Or objective-wise, rather.
Yeah.
I think they're happy, despite the early deficits on the bot lane. I mean, if you could choose any champion to be 3-0, obviously it would be Nautilus, but second up there is Rammus. Like, yeah, your Twitch is going to be really sad that he can't do any damage. But it's not on the Fiora or MF, so you know?
True. We'll see if they can transition a lot of this extra damage that's on Hoodie.
I'm curious if this turns into a really big fight top lane. Probably not, but Doki is invading once again, the same place that he got caught. Pings come out. Hoodie's actually just pathing right towards there, skipping all of these camps just to punish Doki. But Rookter's a little bit stronger than Brenda. Jumps in, is gonna get the stun before she could get the bomb off. So he actually is in a little bit of trouble. Brenda walks away slowly, is probably fine. Meanwhile, Doki, having done the invade, has a JFK randomly here, and I believe that Doki is dead. The ultimate comes out for the healing field, and now Rookter's paying the price as well. Has to flash out. Yes, Mordekaiser's coming, but even if you're without ult, it's still scary.
They definitely had a lot of pressure there. I mean, Doki was not in the right spot. He's been loving that top side, and he's not getting value from it.
He's just jealous because Hoodie comes into his jungle all the time, takes all the camps. And whenever he tries it, people come. The camps are down. I understand. I've been there before, Doki. It's fine. It's your laner's fault always, right?
Absolutely. The difference between this game and last game, I feel like they're just two different teams altogether.
Oh yeah. I mean, the draft alone has led to this like crescendo of just bot lane being so well performed and the jungler being able to do something. It does feel like the draft has massively improved the gameplay. Okay, so TD Poro is grouping up pretty heavily around the bot side. There's nothing up, so I think that it's just going to turn into Rammus taking jungle. Not anything serious. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was a play onto Twitch in a little bit. Meanwhile,
Nice.
Boycrubs are going to come up soon. If if TD Poro can secure 3 of them, they will have the additional little minions pop. But it is a little bit hard whenever you're not committing much, right? Void grows up in 40 seconds, I believe. The timer's a little interestingly translated onto our screen. But it should be up soon. And Maokai is there, but Rammus is not. Meanwhile, JFK's going in with her jungler on the opposite side of the map. I'm not sure if he wants this. The ultimate comes in. The vitals are still there, so I guess I was completely wrong about the interaction, but Torden wins the interaction anyways. MF ult's pretty big. No E from Braum. Nautilus ult just for spite. And they don't get anything bot lane. But we'll get the grubs. Oh, the hook comes in, but there's tower damage.
They want this.
Pretty strong, though. The taunt comes in. Decipher is chasing. I think that they get this, but they also lose Husky in the process. It's still worth it. But that will be the grubs over to RAWR for that bot lane play.
At some point during that fight, somebody lost tower pressure. And MF was just getting hit after hit.
Yeah, I thought for sure it was on Hoodie. I'm not sure. I guess he ulted because that's the only way he could possibly lose it unless he ran out. But it was very awkward that it went onto Husky, not the target you wanted the tower to be hitting. Flash forward from Redface, but there's a blast plant, and it's Rammus, so Hoodie's fine. And that's a flash right before Dragon as well.
I think Hoodie's showing that this game is like, hey, I'm on Rammus. I like this matchup.
Oh my god, Doki is on the Raptors again. I don't think they know he's there, but if he gets caught for a 3rd time in a row, doesn't even get the Raptor. It's so sad to be. Oh, Doki gets it! He gets the Raptor! RAWR have won the game. They get the Raptor that Doki has tried 4 times to invade. It's over, folks. Okay, sorry. Just a little.
He loves the top side. I mean, he's been up there way too many times today.
Okay, why is JFK going for this 1v1 again? It's absolutely massive. I mean, the deficit that he has just put himself at. I guess, like, it's not that big of a deal because there's no Herald up or anything, but wow. JFK picked himself this lane, and it is a little bit difficult.
I think there's moments where that's going to come online, but it's going to force other people on the team to pay the Mord tax.
Mm-hmm. So just to be clear, RAWR has gotten 4 grubs. They're going to get their second Drake, even though TD Poro had the gold lead, or still have the gold lead really, and a lot of advantages in the mid and bot side. They're not getting the objectives. They are going to try to fight this dragon actually, but he's just walking in. He doesn't care. Nautilus knocks up the Tristana. The taunt comes in before she can jump. She finally jumps over them, but MF ult means that she's going to die because of the root. Lunar Paul also will die. And I think that actually I was wrong. The dragon is Doki goes down too, by the way. And Red Face Beast, yeah, you got nowhere to go. So I guess I was wrong. Dragon number 2 does go over to TD Poro, which is good considering their lead.
I think this is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see
Mhm.
them have a little bit more control this game. They got this. They're on this dragon. I mean, we'd love to see the Void Grubs, but I think that they lost a little bit of pressure going on that bottom side dive.
Yeah, and I don't
But-
think giving up the Void Guards is bad. It would have been the 2 dragons that I really would have criticized them for having the lead and losing that. But they pull it together. They get a really good team fight. Hoodie's just all involved with his item lead, and it is really hard for Tristana to play the game. I mean, even having that buffering jump was not enough for her because it was the hook into the taunt. It was really well done.
I do want
Okay,
to
JFK.
mention the ADCs right now. There is a sizable CS lead
Mhm.
for MF, and
Yep,
Twitch
Red
is an
has just-
item-heavy champion that he wants stuff early.
Yeah,
And
Red
the
Face
fact
Beast
that he
has
hasn't gotten it-
not had a good laning phase just due to the Rammus pressure. And, you know, I feel like Doki has been effectively neutralized. He wanted to pressure top lane, and yes, JFK is certainly behind partially because of that pressure. But he wanted the Raptors more than he wanted any lane to get ahead, and now Hoodie's
we
on
go.
Torden. Yes, Torden has the ultimate, but I don't know that he can kill Fiora at this point. Yet Torden will absolutely go down. Flashes away just to get the Fiora killed! So it is a 1-for-1, but that's still pretty positive for TD Poro. Okay, they did bring the Twitch, by the way, so MF's going to trade the tower for Herald. I think they'll take that. I mean, yes, losing an objective whenever you had feels bad, but Heralds are taking towers. And you got the first tower in MF, and you might get the fight afterwards. I think it's fine. And
yeah,
you
I
can
think
tell...
you're just trading towers at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Just
And in fact, they are going to get the
out.
fight afterwards if they want it. Rammus is here. There's only tanks here, but that is fine. They will take Lunar Paw if it's just a Lunar Paw. If Lunar Paw flashes out, has the blast plant. They actually ult Doki because they want him instead. That's really funny. And the MF ult is committed. Doki has nowhere to go because Doki doesn't take flash for some reason. So they get the Herald, but they lose Doki. Not worth that much gold. So, like, really, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal, but
That was an amazing
Objective Bounty's
hook.
Archer for a reason. Meanwhile, Torden just dies because he doesn't respect the CT.
That was an amazing hook. I mean,
Yeah.
that was line drive, straight up. Just, yeah. I think that this is just the power of Nautilus and him being able to
Yeah.
set up fights and set up catches.
Yeah.
And they are
You almost saw
catching
nothing
Doki.
from Decipher last game. This game, he showed up. He is definitely made quite a lot of plays. Like, yes, the kills went onto Hoodie. Yes, there were some really good taunts, but they were usually precipitated by a really good hook. Yeah, so you got Herald and you lost the first 2 towers. It is kind of awkward to be... I mean, you have the Tristana as well, who is not going to be able to scale up that well if Victor gets this far ahead.
I mean, it is Tristana with 4 Void Grubs. You're not going to have the amazing value like they did last game, but still Tristana can just burn towers. And I think if I'm RAWR here, I want to burn that first tower, that mid tower to open up the lane. I mean, there's plenty of vision to clear. I think that's what he's trying to do right now, but you are wasting time that you need to be in lane.
They are committing the Tristana mid and sending the dual lane to match the Victor bot lane. And, oh, actually Tristana is getting a crab. But still, they're committing Tristana mid and sending the dual bot lane, which means that they really do want that mid tower. I'm not sure that MF is really that much worse at wave clear, though, so I don't know that they're going to get it. Dragon spawning in a minute, so the vision control is pretty much what everyone's mind is on right now.
I think Hoodie's a little late to this fight. I mean, I know he's Rammus, he moves quick, but, you know, JFK does not have TP, so no matter what, there's no response there. Mordekaiser has TP coming up for this dragon. We will see if they're going to allocate it for... I mean,
It's gonna be interesting. I think Mordekaiser gets the tower no matter what, but RAWR can't really start the dragon, so Hoodie can kind of show up late. Like, you know, it's fashionable to show up late if you're the team that gets to start the dragon. It doesn't matter if you're late,
mean-
because RAWR's never gonna start it without knowing. Meanwhile, he's here in time to taunt Doki with the hook follow-up and no flash, so Doki's down.
this is
And
dragon
that was just
secured.
yeah, exactly. So it's just really if JFK could really stay alive. This tower's falling. I don't care what JFK thinks. Looks like JFK disagrees. So really a question of if JFK falls with the tower.
I think it's very interesting here. JFK went with steel cap boots.
I guess just for the game in general instead of the lane, but wow.
I mean, the C, you know, tenacity is always good.
Yeah, even if you're gonna go steel cap boots, I wouldn't run them second item. Like I would take the lower move speed and get some MR or something. But I guess hook comes out. It is on a lunar paw, so it's not that scary. Yeah, doesn't really turn into anything.
I guess at
Okay,
this
so
stage, I want to see Mordekaiser's gonna be
is
split pushing.
behind enemy lines. Doki's favorite spot, basically, but I think they're just gonna pass him, so it's okay. Yeah, they don't see him. They see Doki though, and what is Doki going for?
Raptors.
What is he always going for? This is hilarious. There might be a fight here. Torden is pretty strong though. If MF walks too close, MF has to flash out of the ultimates, but now the ultimates are down. There's not enough damage on Husky yet. Here comes Red Face Beast though, and surely MF will fall. But Hoodie is the one that's fed, and Victor's here as well. Look at all this damage coming out from Victor. Who cares about the MF? That's a kill on Red Face. That's a kill on Braum. That's a kill on Doki pretty soon. Yeah, there it is. And Doki's favorite spot does not work out for him once again. Torden, I know you're head in lane. I don't think JFK is going to fall to you whenever there's a Hoodie man here. He barely even needs it just because Torden isn't allowed to turn back, so gets the kill. I doubt they're going to do anything too extreme here. Nothing's really up. Doki has to summon the Herald because it expired. And yeah, TD Poro continues to have a massive lead based on Doki loves that Raptor Pit, is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
That's where
he
the
keeps
last
going
like
back
4
to it.
fights have started.
While, you know, Rift does have to get dropped because the timer, it going mid is probably the better place if it was going to accidentally get spawned somewhere. Just to get that mid tower, but obviously it gets cleaned up before it even gets touched. Before it can touch a tower. We don't really have a whole lot on the map right now. They do. Baron is up, but I don't think anybody's going to contest it anytime soon because there is too much vision and too much pressure from everywhere else.
Yeah, I just wonder if Hoodie's ever gonna die this game. Like, who can kill him? I'm not even sure that Torden can kill him. You know?
He is in a deathless ball right now, and he is, you know, spinning to win.
Doki, don't do it. Doki.
He wants it. He's like, hey,
that's pretty close to it.
and
I
Hoodie's
don't
like,
think Decipher's gonna go for the hook, but they will go for the. Okay, Doki gets the Q out, and it's fine. He is tempted, but he does not bite the apple, and it's okay.
I'm curious what Doki's thinking here. Is he like, hey, I'm gonna invade your jungle just to give him like some mindset? Try to get in his head, but Hoodie's not having any of it.
I mean, he's in my head. I'm not understanding what's going on, so it might be working that way. Okay, so I like the Victor matching Torden on Mordekaiser. I don't think that Veranda's ever in any danger. Meanwhile, the Fiora would be. Hoodie, however, trying to invade him in his own. Doki's in a lot of... yeah, he's trying to teleport out that... or, not teleport out, but... oh, barely dies to Hoodie on the way back. Veranda does get ulted by Torden. I'm not sure how he walked this close. However, he's just winning. Maybe he just thinks he can win it because he can. And the E comes out. Yeah. And Veranda just gets the solo kill on Torden.
Yeah, I mean, everything that's
Twitch
built
is
up...
in the wrong place. They don't know yet, but they will soon. Red Face Beast, I don't think the magic resist shred is going to be good enough. Veranda comes with a stun, but Decipher hooks him before it even matters. And it's just the wrong place for Red Face Beast to be.
Wrong place, wrong time. I thought,
Mhm.
maybe he's like, oh, I can get a good ult off here. That's not going to happen.
Yeah. I think this 1v1 goes in favor of JFK by a lot, by the way. However, the jump comes out at the right time, and Braum is here, so it's not quite a 1v1. Also, Riptor's just playing it better. I don't even know if he needed Braum. So,
I
JFK
think
kind of gives up a Baron for no reason. But oh well. Still Baron
I
for
think
TD Poro.
I think it's been shown that Tristana using the ult to create that additional space on, melee range champions has been everything both this game and last game.
Oh yeah.
So,
I
but
mean,
Poro
yeah,
came out.
Riptor's
They've got Baron. Which lane are they going to pressure? Dragons coming up. Are they going to pressure mid? Are they going to pressure bottom? Just kind of what lane are they deciding? It looks like they're going to
looks like
push toward mid.
yeah, a 4-1 split makes a lot of sense. You get pressure on both lanes to be able to move into Dragon that is rightfully yours. Mordekaiser will be alone for a little bit, so maybe you want to take more than just a Dragon, because, yeah, they send Fiora back. They're like, okay, Fiora, you may not have Baron, but someone's got to answer this Mordekaiser.
And
Both
I
have
definitely
TP.
like Victor matching Mordekaiser, especially with the
Mhm.
the items that Mord has on right now. A lot of armor. Victor's like, okay, cool. I'm not gonna auto attack you.
Okay, so I like what RAWR's plan is here. They're just gonna deathball mid, you get the dragon, we get a tower and a gold bounty. However, Vrenda's trying to stop it. That tower is really low though, so I'm not sure if she and Decipher can really do this. Meanwhile, top lane, JFK is trying the 1v1 once again. It might not work out. Once again, he is just going a little aggressive, but it does get really close. I think Torden's dead. Meanwhile, Red Face B is looking for the follow-up. The ghost coming for JFK sees it because the invisibility runs out. They end up giving up going for the mid tower, instead go for JFK, and they don't deliver.
And that is an ult from Twitch that
Yeah, I mean, it's
lost the
not an ult for
value.
Twitch. It's also just completely leaving the mid lane open. So not only do they have no chance of fighting now, they're also giving up all of these towers to a baroned up team.
I think right there,
Okay,
just
Doki is on the
massive
flank. I
misplay.
really like this flank, but I'm not sure it's enough, right? It's exactly what you want to do. Hoodie's on the wrong side of this. Suddenly he's the back line, and the front line is getting pummeled. MF goes down. It's all on Verinda now. The TP from Fiora is really late. However, Rooker can't survive the tanks. Finally gets able to jump out, and there's no damage because Red Face Beast is too far behind to be able to kill Hoodie Man. Alright, here comes Torden, however. Hoodie Man in a lot of trouble here. Is going to roll on away, might make it out, does not. JFK diving too deep, and suddenly TD Poro's Baron turns into just nothing. Hook is nice, but Doki follows through. This might not be what he wants. Alright, they all get to walk away.
I don't think there's any damage to follow up there. Nautilus definitely has enough MR, enough armor to just kind of hold out and do his own thing. Although it
That
looks like he
flank
doesn't have
from
a whole lot of
Doki
MR.
saved the game. Just to be clear, like,
Absolutely. It set them up. It caught them off guard. You
okay,
have
Doki's
those
at the
items.
Raptors. I think it's a little bit safer this time. I just wanted to point it out.
This is number 6.
I think so, yeah. From
Doki, if
E
you're
stops
watching
the
this
wave
stream,
clear. Okay, Decipher's just dead. The Raptor flanked worked the 6th time because they never expected the 6th time. So at the end of the day, TD Poro is in a little bit of trouble. I mean, yes, they're still favored to win. I mean, look at Verenda. But the soul is Cloud. So the fact that they have 3 dragons is not nearly as important as it would be under other souls. There's no Baron for a long time, and Richter will start to scale up if you give him time, and he certainly has a 60 CS lead on Verinda.
it comes down to who's going to be the bigger late game carrier, I think, here. Are we going to have Victor pop off more, or are they going to let this game go long enough that Twitch is going to come online? We are seeing that, the CS get a little bit closer in bot lane. It was a 30
And it's
difference. Now it's
And it's
marginal.
not just CS. Twitch ult versus MF ult is already kind of favoring Twitch, but then you also factor in that there's a Braum E. I mean, I feel like Redface has the potential to do a lot more than MF if they were on equal footing.
I definitely like where the position's at right now. The 1-3-1. The only thing is they just don't have the vision on that top side. Doki come in for another flank, be the
Yeah, this
same
flank is
spot they were.
massive, and it's going to be the exact same thing. It might work out differently though, because Hoodie is not as far forward as he was before. In fact, they're searching for him, and they are gonna mark him. The Maokai ult comes up, but Husky
They didn't
takes it in
follow
the
it.
face. There's no damage follow-up yet, but Torden's here. Torden not able to get the ultimate off of MF is everything. Yes, Doki's on MF, but he will be able to outrun Maokai. Verinda's also here, and that flank turns to nothing simply because Torden was not quite able to ult the MF.
And this is
Oh, this is bad. The hook comes in, cancels the teleport as well.
Decipher coming in hot with that. That was perfect. Now you've got Fiora that can just take
Okay,
that.
wait, what is Tristana doing? Rookter is looking for a very massive flank. Might have to jump over a wall. Not the right wall, however. Hoodie is coming. He gets the R. He taunts him in. There's no jump now. Rookter, where are you going to go? Into a victory. It is death for him. Meanwhile, JFK gets another 1v1, actually succeeds on it. There's no Brahmi. MF ult is going to be massive. Doesn't quite hit anything from tank, so I'm just completely wrong. But TD Poro are definitely going to get some massive structure damage from killing Rookter and Torden.
Yeah, I think that they take both in hit, at least this hidden hib, the other tower, and maybe they're going to back up Do Dragon here. That's going to be big. I mean, this is a team that's wanted Doki to flank, and if they can get that Cloud Soul, they have more movement, so they can kind of get out of bad situations. Two inhibs. I think they're going to choose to go Baron here.
Okay, that's respectable. I mean, worst case, Doki. Oh, Doki stops. Just kidding. You're right.
Let's be very clear. That, I mean, I guess you have to have damage, and the snare doesn't do damage.
There's like also a very slight window because it used to be inconsistent, so they just made it consistent of like 0.25 seconds or something, where no matter what happens, you get the back off. I don't know. It's just one of those things that like. Yeah. Is this one of those things that like no solution is gonna work out amazingly, but it sure feels bad whenever it goes wrong like that. Okay, they're just starting Dragon and JFK is here. Torden can deal with JFK pretty well, and Rookton is in the pit. However, the fight afterwards is still pretty nasty. You get the Dragon, you get the objective bounty, but the race is to the base. Braum gets hooked, so there's no protection for MF ult now, and they're gonna have to recall against Baron up 2 super minion waves.
I think this is an excellent play. They're like, hey, let's take Baron instead of Dragon. It's not a soul that we care about. They're not going to get it. It's just one. Baron's going to have so much more of an impact. Now it's 4v5. Just they need to be careful about Twitch. But Ram is just sitting up there like, hey, let me just see Tristana. Let me see Twitch.
Bot wave is stacking up pretty well. Braum will be up before it crashes, but that is a double super wave that Victor is ushering in now. Torden might have to blow his ult early, just walks away. Doki, not quite the flank you're looking for. Makes Verinda flash, but I think she'll be fine with that. However, Twitch gets Verinda knocked up and dies, however, for it. Doki dies to the MF ult, but Torden gets the Rammus, which is really big, but MF's still up. She doesn't really like to be fighting these things, but she'll take it if she can. Rookter's here, however, and Rookter's going to be able to shut down everything in this fight. Decipher also goes down. I believe JFK is also possibly in trouble. And the Baron push did not work out the way that the math said it should have.
I think that Verinda very much got caught out there. She was kind of just transitioning from that bot tower into the mid tower, and Doki's like, I'm going to catch you. He still died for it, but that changed all the damage being swayed, and all of a sudden you just have a Mord on top of everybody.
Yeah, that does tend to do a lot of damage.
I think right now, RAWR's best path back into this game is to push out these lanes, let inhibitors, and like hope for a big another team fight or another swing like they did for Doki's flank prior. I think that's what kind of keeps them in, keeps them going.
The game is the most favored towards RAWR that it has been in a while. I mean, there's no Baron anymore. You've got 2 inhibs to farm with. They don't even have Soul on TD Poro, and even whenever they do, it's Cloud Soul. I mean, look how many levels are going to come up. JFK is trying to 1v2. You can't do that. Now it's 1v3. The Maokai ult is going to be committed, but who cares? There's nothing up. You get JFK, and now Tristana and Twitch have forever to scale. Does he get Torden? No. Yeah,
it was very close. I think that just kind of shows you that, like, hey, JFK, you might be able to put. I think if anything, it shows that they can put 2 people and JFK can still push them out. So if I was TD Poro here, I'd be like, hey guys, JFK 4-1 split push for the rest of the game.
It's just so harsh, however, because Doki is going to be the playmaker for the rest of the game, and now his damage dealers in Rookter and Red Face Beast are suddenly leveling up. I mean, it's almost third item for Twitch. It's 4 items for Tristana. It's really scary to be letting this game go on this long and let Twitch and Tristana get all of these super minions. I mean, when's the last time the MF farmed a minion?
Been a while. I mean, both of them have had low CS counts in the past like 5-10 minutes.
Right, but
It
once
has
you
been
take 2
team
inhibitors,
fights.
it's almost impossible to find safe farm as an AD carry. Meanwhile, Twitch is just sitting down there collecting multiple super waves, and what is he going to do? He's going to walk mid, make sure nothing happens, and then walk back bot and collect that sweet, sweet, like 250 gold.
Absolutely. It definitely sounds like TD Poro right now is positioned a little bit of an ARAM. Just kind of like, hey, they're not quite sure
He's
what
on
they
a
should
ward
do.
for the first time whenever he's trying this flank. He's gonna check him out. Redface also in the area. Oh, he's got the red word. Oh, so Swinda's caught out again! But there might not be enough damage if he has flash. No, she's absolutely dead. Caught to rights, and now MF is next! Flash is out, but there's not enough damage if MF and Victor are both out of the fight. Decipher just has to run away hook, but that might not be enough. Richter's definitely chasing him down. And suddenly, I mean, the inhibitors are respawned even. I mean, this is just disaster for TD Poro.
I think 1 kill and they get this tower. It's a consolation prize at best.
Mm-hmm. Tristana TPing, so they might not have enough pressure on Dragon, technically. I don't think that TD4 really wants to fight it, but it is an interesting choice for Rook to TP there. It means, yes, they do stop JFK, but now the Dragon fight is a little bit closer.
I think this is the best position. You're right. It looks like RAWR is kind of getting back into a little bit of rhythm here.
The nice thing is, however, it's really hard for Doki to flank whenever you're fighting at River instead of at his inhibitor. So maybe it's a, a silver lining that wait, they're giving Doki the flank. I'm completely wrong. They're walking into him. It's kind of scary. Verinda is on a ward by herself. How does she get to the fight? Okay, they're just going for the end of the game. Verinda has to be a little careful, but I believe that she thinks that the pressure mid is going to be too much. They get the Cloud Drake. The recall's coming through. Doki again is setting up for the flank. They've got to know Doki's behind them, right? Surely they position a little bit better so that way Husky doesn't take the Doki ult. Here comes the ultimate. Husky's running into Torden! It's not going to go well for him. He's dead before Torden even has to ultimate. And now without MF, it's just on Victor. Husky is already trying the best that he can. And yes, he's fed, but he can't 1v4. Oh, he's just 1v1ing Torden right now, which is really funny to watch, but he will be falling eventually. Ult's out! He might actually be okay. Rupture jumps forward. The E and the Ignite might be enough. Meanwhile, JFK doing JFK things. And how did he get out there? What the heck? Oh, man. Just poor Verinda just constantly. Oh.
Yeah, it was a bad spot, bad time. I think that you have Decipher that's stepping so far back, or that's just looking to sit on MF. Verinda's not getting that coverage that she needs right there. We're gonna see RAWR move over to Baron.
Husky that got Maokai ulted despite them seeing him coming from about 3 miles away. The Baron is started here. I think this is the riskiest moment for RAWR, but they're doing it so fast that the risk almost doesn't matter. Hoodie has to go for a steal. It's not even going to be in time, and I'm sure they don't want to fight with JFK down bot lane. Yes, they have TP, but if you're TPing and late's going to be run, the hook comes forward. It's actually a 4v4. The Baron is really low. The bomb is going to kill her, surely. Yes, and then Richard dies as well while jumping out. Lunar is able to escape. Meanwhile, JFK is trying to end the freaking game. But Redface is there. Lunar's going to beat the sacrifice. Oh, they're actually going to all die together as a team. The captain goes down with the ship. Lunar goes down. Torden is in a little bit of trouble. I guess they do escape. Hoodie's in trouble now. Doki is able to pick up that CC. Meanwhile, JFK back at the towers. He has GA. There's no base. W is really well done. Does he actually have enough to end the game against Baron and 3 people trying to queue for his life? The GA comes up. Surely he cannot end the game. Auto, Q auto. But he will get CC'd and die.
I'm curious, are we going to see Hoodie just roll into base and end this game, or are we going to see a full comeback from RAWR, just push down and get the towers? RAWR has a lot of objectives to get through. They've got only the top tier 1 and mid tier 1. They still have to push all the way through. They do have that Baron buff to get them through a lot of it, but
And they have a level 18 Tristana and a level 17 Twitch.
JFK, he really should have put a ward down before he left. They both have TPs up, and they could easily TP into base. And I think RAWR is worried about that right now, and that's why they have not left their base.
Yeah. But they really don't need to. Cloudsoul isn't up for 2 minutes. Surely the inhibitor will have 1 respawn by then. Looks like it might not. But again, you can kind of give up Cloudsoul at 40 minutes in and not feel that bad. If you're TPing in directly in the face of Richter Doki ults, I don't think they're going to find anything. But it's a very weird play. Meanwhile, Hoodie going for a flank of his own. Decipher trying to fight Torden like he's a top laner. Gets the hook off. Torden's going to have to ult somebody. Who is it? Here comes Lunar Paw. This is such a weird tank fight. Meanwhile, Tristana and Fiora still mid. No TP. Get the hook onto Redface Beast. Can't really get anything off. Here comes the ultimate. Verinda's definitely going down. Victor ult not doing enough. MF, meanwhile, is getting chased over on the top side, I believe, by Maokai. It's just so weird. Meanwhile, JFK going for the end of the game. MF half health. I think she'll live, but she definitely won't be in the fight for a while. JFK's gonna end the game! Q's forward gets the last auto.
I think this is exactly what we wanted from JFK. We wanted a split push. We wanted dominance right there. You had an aggressive lane. What do you think there?
I don't know what I was watching. JFK, wasn't part of the game for a long time, and then suddenly he's the sole reason TD Poro won. I guess the Fiora pick was just seeing into the future and being like, yeah, okay, my lane may not be great, but God, I'm just gonna end the game.
I couldn't agree more. Just a split push end.
And if you can't answer that with Tristana, Mordekaiser, Maokai, what do you answer it with? I mean, that lane looked like hell for JFK.
Absolutely. And I guess
1v1s were horrible. Doki was getting all of these engages on his team while JFK could do nothing but watch from a side lane or teleport too late. And then he's just like, well, it doesn't matter because I win the game.
And if you're Doki right now, I think there's a big shift when you're taking Raptors. All of a sudden, when you stop taking Raptors, your team does a little bit better.
Oh, man. I mean, there was that one Raptor flank that worked so well the 6th time.
It took some time to get there.
Wow. I mean, I don't even know how you adapt from that game as a teams. I mean, everything TD Poro drafted went well. It's just like, you gotta learn how to consistently end the game. And you've got to make sure that Doki can't flank on you every time. But for RAWR, I mean, their draft wasn't horrible, right? Like, nothing. I guess the Twitch was a little bit underperforming, but other than that, like, it's not really a draft diff. Torden did great on Mordekaiser. It did answer the Fiora as it wanted to until suddenly it didn't. Doki's Maokai just almost solo won them the game that they had lost for 20, 30 minutes.
I think in game 1, we had a very clear vision from RAWR. They had a draft that was engaged, it hit it, and Poro did not. Game 2, Poro had very much more of an identity. RAWR had a little bit of identity. So I think for me, going into game 3, I want to see a champion draft of very 2 distinct identities for these teams. And I think once you have that, where they're like, hey, this is how we pilot this comp, and both of them have that idea, I think we're going to see a really good game 3 if we can get a good draft out of both of them.
I think that the draft was spectacular from TD Poro. I mean, it wasn't the draft why they were struggling to end the game. It was simply the way that Doki played. And RAWR has to answer that, and I'm not sure how they answer it, because you can ban the Fiora, but the Fiora... I mean, yes, the Fiora did the last damage on the Nexus, but any top laner there probably wins the game if they just clean up how they push their advantage. Even if it was just not Cloud Soul, too, in a way.
True. I mean, if we go
So
into this next game and they draft something pretty similar from TD Poro, I'm curious if we're gonna see a reactionary draft from RAWR. Be like, hey, we know JFK wants a split push. We know that they want to draft this thing. Their bot lane is fairly consistent now on an engaged champion. So if they have that identity, is RAWR going to be like, hey, I'm not going to worry about responding. I'm going to draft a comp for this style. I'm going to go in. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to let Doki do what Doki does. Or are they going to switch it up, respond to that split pushing, and punish JFK as much as they can so that, you know,
it's just so interesting because the draft went exactly as Roy wanted in a way. They got the flex pick of Mordekaiser. They got the counter matchup, even though it was oddly like they countered themselves. Um, Doki got his best champion and delivered on it, and
I
they
mean,
still lost pretty
I mean,
handedly at the
flex is
beginning.
great and all, but if you get a good counter pick, because the Rammus on Hoodie provided as
That's
much
true.
value as it was going to do, and they
The one thing
drafted
that
excellently for
the
that
one
one
thing
spot.
that TD Poro got was that Rammus pick, and I doubt that RAR is going to let that sucker punch them again. It looks like RAR is going to go red side,
They're going to
so
give the
it
counter
will be
pick.
TD Poro. It will be TD Poro on blue side once again. I don't think they're gonna first pick the Maokai. I just don't think it's really right for Hoodie Man, and it's definitely not right for JFK. Having watched these players 2 weeks in a row, I feel like I'm the authority on these players. Obviously, I'm just speculating, but still, I just feel like Maokai just isn't quite the right texture for Hoodie Man to be on after that amazing Rammus performance and Poppy performance last week. Um,
I
so I'm curious
definitely,
what they're
yeah,
gonna do about it.
I think that maybe Maokai will be not banned and not picked up from TD Poro. I think that after the previous game's performance, they're like, okay, don't worry about it too much. But maybe Doki's like, no, I need one do over. He just had a bad early or something of that sort. Because you could definitely
I
have
mean,
different Maokai games. Maybe just don't touch the Raptors as much, and then you're gonna be on red side, so you can touch
yeah,
Raptors that side.
Doki has looked lost for the first like 5 minutes of both games. Now, game one, he pulled it out and did amazing, basically won the game on his own. Game two, he basically brought the game back on his own as well. But if you can take advantage of the fact that Hoodie has just had his number for the first 5 minutes of the game and just make sure he doesn't have a lane to pick on for a little bit, once again, I think that he will struggle. Uh, it's just a question of the late game engages, and it is a question of the ability of JFK to win that lane matchup as well.
I'm curious since they, swap sides, we're back to the same sides as game one. So are we
Mhm.
going to have that hard top counter pick to not allow JFK to do what he did this last game in hard split push even into that, that matchup? Obviously, RAR has responses for tons of flexes. So Poro's not gonna have is gonna have even less information going into this game.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more about if TD Poro can get the picks they want rather than worrying about the matchup because honestly, I mean, Richter is going to go some kind of control character, whether it be Tristana, Lux. I believe there's a third one. And then it
Corky,
seems
but
like no
Corky can stay
matter.
banned.
Yeah, Corky, exactly, like the same kind of champion.
I,
Meanwhile, top lane, it doesn't matter what you put JFK versus Torridon on. It's just like it kind of went the same way both games.
my
Um,
expectation is that Corky is not gonna be allowed to play. Yeah,
mhm.
Corky in a function, and especially how RAR's been playing, Corky would be devastating to Poro. So if I'm Poro, I'm making sure that that stays banned. And I think that maybe the Amumu will be left up, but we'll see.
Honestly,
Um,
I just think TD Poro need to not outdraft themselves. Like first game, they put themselves on champions that were on paper probably favored, and then they just looked like they didn't quite know how to play that team comp that they drafted for themselves. And then game two, they
I'll
put
be honest,
themselves on champions.
I don't even think there was really a true team comp in game one. I
That's
think
true.
those are very much solo queue champions. And RAWR drafted really well in game 1, but
Mhm.
that flipped completely in game 2. So if game 3 both teams have a really good champion, team identity and care a little bit less about the matchups, because you can get a hard counter pick and run over the entire game. It's very
It seems
possible.
like it.
As somebody that's going to be watching the game, I want to see 2 team comps that are doing very specific things, and I want to see a good, game 3 here.
I also want to see Veranda just. Victor was good because it's not as volatile as the Diana, but you have to recognize that both games, Verinda has struggled in just having that stability that a mid laner needs for a team. I mean, was not able to provide damage that was expected of her kill count from Victor because of the flanks. And then in the first game, I mean, just because, again, because of Doki. I mean, this is both times, like Doki versus Verinda has ended horribly for Verinda. You almost need something that doesn't matter what Doki does, you know?
Just Doki coming out of nowhere, like he's, middle of the country in Idaho or something, or Utah, and just jumps right into the middle of the game. And I think that Doki's going to do that consistently.
Mm-hmm. So
But
you
we
kind of
will
want
we'll
to
see.
waste priority targets or make it less effective by properly screening it out and having an answer. In the team for game 2, and they let them out hit their carries every time, which is pretty scary.
All right, looks like we
Uh,
got a ready check from TD Poro. We'll see if TD RAWR is ready.
yeah. Seems like the teams are a little bit slow to actually get in, but I'm expecting this one to be very exciting. I think the teams are having a little. Oh, here comes draft. We are into draft. TD
There
Poro,
we
first
go.
ban. Is it gonna be the quirky? No.
We're
Zach.
getting rid of Zach.
Respectable.
I think they
Yeah.
decided they're like, hey, this flanking angle, jumping in, we're not having it. And if I'm Doki and TD Poro is not, is afraid of Zach, I might play Fiddle. But Fiddle's not good in the meta right now, and that also removes a tank from them. So
If Doki invades on Fiddle, it's gonna be so much weaker than the Maokai in a lot of ways.
yeah.
I mean, neither is really amazing at it, but it is really scary to see Doki on the Raptor camp once again and just die instantly.
And it looks like
Um,
JFK is absolutely not going to get Garen ever. And it seems like it's a hard ban. They're like, no. I mean, it's
okay.
everything that JFK wants. Got
Are
another
they gonna ban the
Moo.
Corki?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
surely
it's
they do, right? They banned it both the first 2 games. Richter has had pretty good performances in both 2 games on Tristana, which is like, if you can't punish the Tristana, you probably can't punish the Corki, and that is a monster that you do not want to see.
and going to this game, if they end up drafting Maokai game 1, I kind of want to see Decipher on it. Don't give it to Hoodie. Hoodie, he can play it, but maybe it's like, no, maybe RAR, it's like, hey, we're going to flex it this time. We're going to play Maokai. He might go support, he might go top, he might go jungle. We'll flex it on you.
All right. Swain banned once again. I think Verinda would have done really well in Swain, both the first 2 games. It would have been a pretty nice answer to Tristana just to be able to scale up. And even if you get kicked into a team, it's not that big a deal. Corki does go down.
Yep. Uh, Never going to get through. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see another Tristana. If that's going to be an AP bot, because,
Vargas
they
and then
bound.
Mordekaiser banned themselves, which is wild. I mean, I kind of get it because you don't want it taken away.
So
But
we're going to see an APC, because it sounds like they're going to play Tristana. And I don't think the Lux is a good pick, especially with how RAR's been playing. Too much poke. MF, solid pick.
yeah, I mean, it did well in lane. It did well in fights, except for a few key moments. But I mean, those ultimates were pretty impactful, even on the tanks.
I mean, MF's just great in meta right now and just doing
Also,
really well.
Hoodie got the first 3 kills of that game in bot lane. If um, sorry, if Husky had gotten any one of those, or maybe 2 of those, it could have been a very different game as well. So I mean,
That
why
would have
not run
been
it back?
dominating.
We will see what pick this. Okay, it's a Zyra again. which is really annoying to play into as MF. I mean, it used to be kind of like a counter because you could queue the plants, but it just
But
still just like
if we're seeing this AP from Zyra, we're going to see another Tristana game. It's going to be the same kind of rhythm. The only downside is Zyra was the one champion when they had that team identity of going in, playing Tristana, playing Zac, but the Zac is banned. Maokai
okay,
going in. Okay.
not fooling anyone. Gonna take the Maokai second instead of fifth, respectable.
There's no
Yes,
flex
it's
here.
a
It's
flex,
very
but it
clear.
probably isn't. Yeah, exactly. Doki's on Maokai and he's gonna take some Raptors.
Yeah, if we could get a Raptor count for a little graphic, we can start counting it for Doki. Maybe have him change his
Nautilus, great
icon.
pick. Kind of awkward into Zyra though. Obviously Decipher performed amazing on Nautilus in the late game, but it's gonna be a little tougher in lane.
It does have its moments, but if you're Nautilus, you kind of just walk around some angles because once Zyra uses most of her cooldown, she's down for 8 seconds. Nautilus's hooks are around the same time, so he can just kind of sidestep, get a good angle, and then lollipop onto Zyra because plants don't have the
Whew,
same interaction.
I
The
really like answer to that.
Malzahar, I really like
Uh,
this.
It's a great answer to Tristana if you're assuming that's coming out. It's a little bit more durable whenever Doki comes with a flank, and it also has that spell shield that eats up the damage from Maokai ult. I mean, it's whoa. So just to be clear, last time RAWR played Pantheon, it was top lane with Torden. I believe it probably is again. I don't think they would put Richter on Pantheon into Malzahar. It's an interesting
I,
matchup, but
I think that Pantheon is going top just because they
mhm.
are banning the Darius and they're banning things that Pantheon might not necessarily always like.
I do like the Samira ban. That's what they showed first game with Zyra Samira, and also you're a little bit vulnerable to it this game, I think. I guess Decipher has a lot more opportunities to stop it with Nautilus, but it would have been really annoying. Also, they left Richter pick pretty late, so Tristana is gone.
So I don't know if I leave the Tristana up. I'm sorry, I don't ban Tristana. I think you ban the Lux here, especially since those are the Lux, Trist, Corki, and that's what we were expecting from the mid. And Lux versus Mal's is not the best lane, especially since Lux can get rid of the saplings. And
Yep,
on the dot.
here comes Lux. But it does leave out the late game potential that RAR had the last few games. Lux does not scale as well as Tristana, and it certainly doesn't push down towers as well. So it
No, but
will
you
be a
definitely have that team identity going very clearly for a catch comp. Like you have a
mhm,
Maokai ult, you got lots of snares. Mundo, Dr.
yeah,
Mundo, baby, just coming in
makes a lot of
heavy.
sense.
Yeah, you're just gonna tank. You're gonna soak up
Okay,
what you can.
please put Hoodie on something reasonable, not like a Zen, not the I guess there is no Maokai, but just something that can kind of farm, but also can get some really nice early ganks onto these aggressive lanes, especially top and bot lane.
I mean,
Been
with the
thinking a
MF,
long
I
time
wish they
about
didn't.
this.
I wish they had not banned the Amumu because Amumu would look real good. But
It's gonna be the Udyr. I
okay,
feel like from what I've seen from Hoodie, this would be a good champion fit for him. I'm not sure if he's played it, but it certainly fits his playstyle. I mean, I can imagine Hoodie just walking all over Doki's jungle with Udyr, and then also catching him whenever Doki's on the Raptor pit or something. So, uh, we'll have to see what the AD carry is. Clearly not going to be Fizz. It's clearly not going to be Fizz.
are they going to full APC?
Nyla
That
makes it very volatile. I really want to see both junglers bot lane.
So I mean, Nyla has the same level of stuff as Samira, so I get like they had the same flavor in the bot lane as they did game one. So I think that's where the
Yep.
Nyla. The only thing is, if you're gonna pick Lux, you don't need Zyra. You could have
Yeah.
picked Taric or something that goes more hand in hand with Nyla in that play style. Not really worrying about too much what the rest of the lanes are going on. But you do have a
Yeah.
team identity. RAWR trying to catch people out. Poro hit R and just bomb on a team fight because you've got damage soaking between Mundo, Udyr, and then you've got MF ult and Mal's just to push a wave.
All right, here's my baseless generalization theory. If Hoodie for the third game in a row outplays Doki in pathing for the first 5 or 6 minutes, TD Poro will win the game. It just feels like Doki will not have the ability to influence a lane so much whenever it's talking about Malzahar, Mundo, and Nautilus, that giving up that crucial advantage that he's given up in the first few games will be recoverable.
Yeah, no. It just has, yeah. I agree with you completely. Going into this game 3, I'm very curious what the Lux is going to look like. I think the mid matchup is the one that I want to look at the most right now. It's something we have, we've seen Bot, we've seen Hoodie go off, we've seen Doki.
We've seen Doki, we've seen Raptors, we've seen amazing flanks.
Yep, we've seen lots of Raptors.
But will we see the Nyla be able to crush it? Will we see Lux being able to pull out some damage that Tristana could never from long range away? It will be Rookter's first game on Lux for the series, and I'm kind of interested in how that changes RAWR's game plan.
Going into this game, though, I would very much either look for an invade from RAWR or, counter invade on another side, because you've got multiple snares from RAWR, then also you have that Nautilus hook to completely change that fight. But
yeah, I'm
we will
curious.
see.
I think that TD Poro should stick with the 5-point. I could see, however, some 5 balls running into each other, which would be very exciting. And I agree that it probably favors RAWR, but it could turn very quickly if Decipher gets a really nice hook.
I'm expecting this game to be lots of kills, lots of deaths, lots of fights. They're gonna catch people out left and right. They've been good about clearing vision. They've been good about putting in vision, but still they want to go for those team fights. And I think both teams want them. I think you got some brawlers in both teams.
Yeah, I think junglers should be looking at the bot lane. That's just my 2 cents. You're talking about Nyla Zyra versus MF Nautilus. Yes, you could probably make the Malzahar have some trouble, but at the end of the day, he's still gonna press R. And then
I
Mundo
think
versus Pantheon, I don't know. As a jungler, I'm just not excited to gank that lane on either side.
true. I was about to say I played Mal's tons. It's one of my personal favorites. I love the champ. But when you got a jungler, like Udyr, use alt and just wait for Udyr to come in, clean it up.
Yep.
And then on the
Yeah,
other
I mean,
side, you've got Maokai and Lux. Lux can stand back, snare, boom. Maokai's gonna hit, and then hopefully got enough burst damage to get rid of one of the two.
yeah, I could see mid lane influencing the game a lot. So you're right that Doki could do a repeat of game 1, where Verinda gets a little bit of bullying from Doki.
A little bit of pressure.
It's a little less effective on against Malzahar than it was Diana, but it definitely could still turn the game. Meanwhile, this Pantheon, it's just so out there. Like, I don't even know what to talk about with it. It's like top lane Pantheon blind pick. Whenever you
It's
know
just that
JP is
global
willing to play
presence.
tank.
It's picking it early. It's giving that global presence. It's being aggressive. The only thing is that Mundo is, if Pantheon doesn't get ahead early, Mundo is just gonna save face for the rest of the game. Nyla's not gonna be able to handle it. Mundo's gonna get big. It's gonna do exactly what they did game 2, except might take a few minutes later in the game because Fiora does definitely split pushes earlier.
All right, we'll have to watch Doki pathing. We'll have to watch Hoodie pathing. We'll have to watch if a level 1 happens, and we will watch that after a quick break whenever we get into game 3 between RAWR and TD Poro, tied 1-1.
to the days when we were both okay. Baby, you know it wasn't yesterday. We lost track and we couldn't find a way. 'Cause I still love you. Oh, I still want you. I still need you. Yeah, I still love you. I still want you. Yeah, I got the juice like a snow cone. Ice in my veins and a cold flow. I'm getting cash overseas by the boatload. You wanna ride my wave? That's a no-go. Senoritas going loco. Make it bounce like a pogo. All my haters see rojo. They big mad cause they coming up short like Frodo. Activate the beast mode. I keep it hot, give your brain a heat stroke. You ain't a big shot, you some basic B-roll. The world is mine like my name's Pacino. Hey, it's Nico, I guess I'm back. Catch me in the fast lane on the right track. And my shorty is a 10 like a dime bag. Got me feeling like a millie, check the price tag. Got the party jumping like crisscross. Got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Pull up on the scene like a big shot. EDM and hip hop, ain't no time for pit stops. Got the party jumping.
All right, welcome to the explosive game 3 of TD Poro versus RAWR. 5 points for both teams, however, a little bit on the top, or actually, it's not 5 point at all for RAWR. I'm
Yeah,
just completely
we're.
wrong.
I think they're expecting.
Doki's doing
Nautilus.
Doki things, by the way.
Yeah,
Is he gonna take another tower shot? Unbelievable.
that's a
Unbelievable.
lot of damage.
Yeah, but it is a good bait. It does give, but I mean, TD Poro don't even fall for it. They just get a really nice ward, and it's pretty good. However, Husky, oh gosh,
Doki has to
I'm
back
pretty-
here, right?
I think Maokai could do it with a good leash, but I respect the decision to back instead.
I mean, the ward's not even
Um,
going to provide them any additional information.
No, he's just doing Doki things. He gave up a ward in topside, and got a really crappy ward, and is going to be late to camps.
I mean, Verinda's got that ward on Doki's favorite camp, topside
Yeah, and it's
Raptors.
gonna spot him. I mean, I 100% expect Hoodie to be able to outpath Doki again, because Doki is showing up at 137 to his first camp, and it's on a ward. That's like absolute disaster. This lane's kind of interesting, by the way. Both of them want to get the push because both junglers are going to be kind of looking at it. However, I believe that Verinda's getting a little bit more of a push. Meanwhile, Rukter's getting more of the damage on Verinda, so it's a little bit of a wash. Level 2 for Nyla early because Nyla things. Just gets a little bit of... Oh, Decipher gets a hook. I'm not sure. Yeah,
That
it's
was solid.
really
That
good.
was a solid trade.
Yeah. It was
I think
barely
right now
a
they're just-
trade.
Yeah, I mean, a little damage, not much.
Alright, Hoodie's just doing his own full clear. He's a little bit ahead of Doki. Meanwhile, Torden's pushing in whenever Doki's on his side of the map. And Doki, again, is extremely late. Mine is not frozen yet, but it looks like the stream is frozen, so I'm expecting mine to soon. DFK might go down though. It looks like mine is going fine, and the streams is not. That might change, but I'm gonna try to see if we can figure out a way to get it to the stream because just casting it is not. We don't do shoutcasting without any video anymore. That was
Video,
like
right?
baseball things. Anyways,
Right now we've got a lot of
so
pressure in the
first
bot
blood way
lane.
top. Doki looking mid, got a really nice flank. We're gonna try to get some video. I'm just not 100% sure if I'm going to wait for. I think we're gonna wait for the stream. So, we're probably gonna rewind. Mostly, what has happened is that, let's see, Doki is just so far behind on his jungle, but Udyr versus Maokai, you kind of expect that, so it's not like the end of the world. First blood onto Mundo is really big though for Torden. That might be just after what the stream saw. So sorry for the spoilers, but without jungler intervention, Torden just gets a solo kill on the JFK. And that is a big deal. Meanwhile, bot lane is going okay, stable. I don't know. What are your thoughts so far?
So right now, like bot lane, you definitely have Nyla with this huge presence that's gonna later in the game provide a lot of go-in damage. And Doki wants to go in, Pantheon wants to go in. It's just Desire and the Lux that just want to catch people out. Their team identity is two separate things. It's whether or not they get those snares off that's going to make a huge difference. But then you've got, Mal's and Nautilus that can like isolate and pick one person to go after. So if they go after Nyla, ruin her day, they're kind of out of damage.
Yeah, that's true.
And then in the top lane, Mundo's going to split push, and he's going to punish Pantheon for any time he leaves lane. So Pantheon's going to ult to go somewhere. JFK is going to be like, okay, you're going to leave lane? I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to get as many plates as possible.
This is not the first time that JFK has died early and then potentially been fine for the rest of the game. So we'll have to see.
So currently we're still working on stream. We'll get caught up, and then we'll pick a timestamp.
Yeah, let me just see when First Blood was so we can get a little bit behind that. It looks like we ended off around 2:30 because I remember talking about Hoodie going to the top side while Doki was still on his Krugs. So around there would be a good time to start, in my opinion. And we'll have to get that synced up, so that will take a second. So just stay with us a little bit. I think that well at out outdoing what Doki was doing early. So I really appreciate this because you let Doki get Maokai, but you punish him for what Maokai doesn't do, which is farm well. Especially if he's gonna go tower shot. I mean, I don't kind of glossed over a little bit, but went for an interesting play. It looked strategic, right? Like he had people in the wings waiting for the bait. So like, it's not like he's just absolutely throwing it out there.
But I just
But
think it's just people are expecting Doki to do it, and they're like,
mhm.
oh, okay, we could just like not risk this.
Exactly. Exactly.
It only works if you do it consistently.
All right. Looks like we are going to get into
Timestamp
game. I'm going to yeah, 1 second. So I'm gonna start at 2:36. It's a little bit right before First Blood, I believe. And then we will get everything sorted out correctly.
at 2:36.
Yep, 2:36. I'm just gonna count down real quick. 3, 2, 1, now. And we should be good. Just get everything right there. Here is JFK getting ignited. Mundo's worst summoner spell transition. and then the flash in, Torden gets the solo kill. Both junglers are pathing towards it too, so it's really depressing to be Hoodie Man pathing towards your top lane, and it dies before you even get the chance to be there.
I mean, I think that's exceptional for Pantheon to pull that out early.
Oh,
Pantheon
the
definitely
hook
has
though, by the way, Lunar Paw's in a little bit of trouble. He has flash, so
no
I
ADC
think
to
he'll-
follow.
Yeah, just has to walk away. Just ignite you from Decipher. Not actually that much trouble. But this is a huge wave, and Lunar Paw is staying. Like, it's stacked right outside the casters are all gonna stay here, right? This is gonna be another wave coming in, and you're talking about Nautilus, who can dive with ease. There's no junglers here. I am a little scared for the bot. Oh, but meanwhile, Doki caught again in the Raptor Pit. This time his own Raptor Pit, but it doesn't matter because Hoodie is so strong. Comes in, gets the kill. Yes, but Pantheon and Lux are here to avenge Doki because it's actually his jungle. But Hoodie Man doesn't care. Oh!
Execute from the
Q
spear.
Pantheon. Just too much damage. Meanwhile, the wave fizzled up bot lane, so. Torden going for this fight, he only has 2 longswords into Ruby Crystal, so his advantage isn't that palpable whenever we're talking about Mundo versus Pantheon. But the wave is in a horrible spot for JFK.
I think JFK is looking just to reset that real quick because he has not gone back. He still has that Ruby Crystal. Good snare. I think
Yeah,
that
but
once
whenever
we
you have
see
2 mid laners on a mana, it's like
Yeah.
you can throw skill shots, it doesn't really matter.
I think in that top lane, you just wait for Mundo to go back, get a little reset.
They're just auto attackers now. They're doing like 20 damage. But Verinda has a red buff, inexplicably. Oh, the flash forward! They have some on the bot side, but Hoodie's here with the flank! Flash from both of them, but Lunar's not going to be able to get out with just a flash.
And I think that was a
really
great
good game.
conversion.
Mhm.
Good conversion, win on MF. That's who you guys want all your kills on, all that stuff. And in the mid lane with them low on mana, I think that's just kind of how that lane goes because
Yeah.
Lux doesn't want Mal's to have minions up. So she has to burn mana. Mal's is burning mana because it's like, oh, I got to CS with this because my auto attacks aren't clearing as fast as Lux. So it's just a back and forth.
Rye gets Void Grubs. Hoodie gets the Hextech Drake, which is like Void Grubs is not as good without Richter on Tristana and Nyla. Like that, not that much tower pressure. But Hextech Drake, whenever you're talking about Udyr, Misfortune in a way, even Nautilus, I mean, it's a pretty good dragon to get first. Meanwhile, Doki gives for a pretty good invade here, but it's not gonna get as much value as Hoodie's invade, and I think both of them are gonna get away with it. It's kind of like a gentleman's agreement. You get my blue side, I'll get your blue side. But Hoodie gets the blue buff. I believe it's level 1 blue buff, so maybe not that amazing, but still.
But yeah, I don't think blue buff was up for Doki. Or sorry, the top side blue buff.
Because Hoodie took the first blue buff, Doki never did. Those camps are still level 1. Meanwhile, he's here on Verinda, gets the spell shield really well. Verinda still has ultimate, but he's rooted, so it doesn't really matter. The burst damage from Lux is enough. Gonna flash away, but the ignite and the auto attack is enough to kill her. And,
I think, yeah, Verinda's definitely
was not aware of the handshake agreement. Udyr's in their blue, so Maokai must be in mine, but she does not play around it, unfortunately. Doki on Raptors, by the way, just putting it out there. Hoodie
Raptor
working
count
to
one?
find it.
Did he take it though?
Malzahar has ult, by the way, so this is really scary for Doki. Level 5, Lux is coming, Nautilus is also coming, but might get intercepted by Zyra. The root's pretty good. Malzahar can't get here and die, but the hook is really good! Hoodie too low to actually finish Doki, so Decipher takes matters into his own hands, but now Torden's here! Inexplicably! Why is Torden here?
I think that was a perfect conversion. Now you also got Mundo that can take more on top, get a couple plates, get further ahead, and do exactly what we want Mundo to do when Pantheon leaves. Take tower, punish him for it. And they didn't get anything.
Well, even if they did, it's like a kill at most. Whenever you're just defending Doki going for an invade, and you're losing so many plays. Oh, the ultimate from Malzahar because Richter doesn't have one now. No, she does actually because the cooldown. Not quite going to be able to finish it off. Has to flash. JFK meanwhile up a level and winning these 1v1s quite handedly.
really would like to see from mid is a good just Lux clearing wave and roaming and providing that
Yeah.
like map pressure. Because if you got Lux roaming and you got Pantheon's ult, you have this catch potential that their team is designed around. That
You see this
will
2-0 Pantheon, by the way, up only 200 gold because of
yeah.
the CS difference in the plates.
I mean that's what happens when you leave lane and let Mundo take plates. I mean singular plate.
Okay, so they're moving the duo lane mid. I think they really want these Void Grubs. They want all 6, because even if you don't have the Tristana, all 6 Void Grubs is pretty powerful. Nyla is showing mid, so TD should be aware of this. But Hoodie is really... Okay, so he's pathing top. They're sending the bot lane up as well. Lux might get some time on the bot tower, but the Lux doesn't really do that much damage to towers, and now it's going to be a 5v4 because Nyla showed early. So I'm not sure if moving the dual lane is going to be the best for RAWR.
I think they responded quite well, but also you have to realize that Malzahar can clear waves. With Lux gone, just, put the Void out and let the minions do its thing.
Alright, it is going to be a 5v5 for these Void Grubs. You don't usually see this, but RAWR wants all 6. TD doesn't want to let them. Dragon isn't up for another minute, so it is purely over these Void Grubs. Torton is still pretty strong, even if it's not as strong as you would expect from the 2-0. Wave control to RAWR for mid, but wave control top lane goes to T Poro. And Malzahar says the wave is gone. So good luck with that. Hoodie starts it, but he really can't afford to. Draws Pantheon down. They decide to put Mundo back on the wave, which means they're probably giving up these Void Grubs. And I'm not sure they're going to get the reward for it. Meanwhile, Maokai ult comes down. Mundo's going to be so late. Decipher's dead. And it's going to be all Void Grubs to RAWR. Mundo comes in late anyway, so he doesn't even get a plate or the crash. And TD Poro just completely fumbled the bag.
I mean, I think that RAWR would put themselves in the space before TD could even manage it. They were trying to get that bush cheese. Didn't work. I think we're going to see...
Torton cannot take this fight. He is trying to get back to his minion wave, but I don't know if this tower will protect him. Has to flash. Which is pretty valuable whenever you're talking about Dragon coming up. But JFK does not have TP. Notably, he used it to get back to lane, get pressure for those Void Grubs that they had to give up anyways. So Pantheon may look to match Mundo. He may look to give up plates for the Cloud Drake. Cloud Drake is not that good of an advantage, though. So I'm not sure where Torton's going to go. Doki starts it. They don't know where Pantheon is, so they could be walking into a 45. This is very tense for TD Poro. Torton is walking top, but they're not aware of that yet. Doki walks away. Decipher here looking for a hook. Still not level 6, by the way. So there's no Nautilus ult, but Hoodie just walks onto the Dragon. They see Pantheon now, so they know it's 4v4. Doki jumps in, and Hoodie is getting, Husky's getting away. Udyr gets it. The ultimate from MF kind of whiffs, but Riptor gets a lot of damage off. Meanwhile, Nyla goes in pretty heavily. Decipher still no ultimate. Gets a hook before he goes down for sure. MF goes down. Not everyone goes down, really, for nothing except for the Dragon. Yep, Verinda, I don't... A little awkward. I don't... Okay, sure, you can escape for a little bit. Okay, yeah. Okay,
I think you just waste time there, but...
she's gonna make it. She's gonna make it. Surely.
She doesn't have any mana, and...
Yeah, I know.
Very clear.
She's trying so hard. Alright. It is just a solo kill for Lux. There's no assist goal, so, like, it's the right play. It just looks very funny. Okay, Torton going for this 1v1 again. It's a good trade, but I'm a little bit worried he gets trapped in the mire. Never mind, JFK is just really low.
I think you go in that, especially since he has Ignite. He's like, okay, I can face this. I've got the damage, especially with Ignite. And
both junglers are in the area. Torton commits under tower. Ignite's still up. You finally use there, actually. Oh, the Q just executes! Massively outplaying JFK. And Hoodie can just chase, but it's not going anywhere. Doki's actually going to be behind him. Hoodie has to walk away. Dual lane swap, by the way. So Nyla's mid by herself, but Zyra's on the wings. Riptor had the TP bot lane.
I think if you're Mundo right now, you need to respect Pantheon. especially when he came back and got those items. He had so much of an additional damage output that Mundo didn't have, and Ignite on top of that. You just gotta identify that, like, hey, maybe not the time to like face check. Maybe I just push my wave, reset.
I just really want TD Poro to take a step back. Like, this is last 2 games you were facing the Tristana, you were facing Doki with this amazing team play at the end of the game. But this time, I mean, you're up 2 dragons. You're against Nyla Lux. You could take a little bit of a breather and just kind of give some objectives and hold on. Because once that Mundo gets to the point where, I mean, he's up a level on Torden despite the 2 solo kills. You know, if you just make this game last 30, 40 minutes again, I mean, sure, you're not going to get the Fiora outplay, take the next set. Why does this fight look so close? I hate top lane. What happened?
I mean,
I know it's like a CS gap and stuff, but this is ridiculous.
I think this is where it's the other way around. Mundo just came back from a back. He's got items and he's got that advantage.
All right, so dual lane still bot lane for TD Poro, so they're definitely giving up this Herald. I think it's the right play, but it will allow for a lot of gold pressure on RAWR. There's no towers taken yet. This Herald is definitely going to change that.
He's just throwing those
playing a little bit with fire. He should know everyone is on this Herald. He does get first tower. They decide not to commit to him because it's Mundo, so he actually does get the tower before Herald can do anything about it. Works out pretty well. Doki invading, but Hoodie's just one step ahead of him.
He's gonna get caught if he gets
They're gonna
seen.
get the chase. Yeah, but there's no follow-up, so I don't think Hoodie wants to go for it. Rookter taking some camps of his own, sure. Classic mid laner.
I'm
Mid
surprised
lane
it took
syndrome.
so long for TD Poro to make this transition of like, hey, Mouse needs to be matching Lux. Like, it needs to be there. Mid lane needs to be.
Okay. No. Yeah. This is so ridiculous. Did I not just see Torden solo kill JFK twice in a row? And now it looks like he's just really sad in lane. This is...
I mean, this is the power. This is minion advantage. Ooh, you gotta hit those.
It's minion advantage and it's a tower advantage. Torden has to flash again away from Mundo, and I think it will be the first solo kill for JFK. Walks away though, isn't sure where Doki is. It looks a little weird, but I think it's the right play. It just... There's not the stats to follow it up, but you can imagine Doki being there. I mean, Uda's also in the area, so maybe he should have finished it off, but whatever. It's Mundo. Just let him do Mundo things.
We do have
All right,
Dragon
third dragon
coming up.
spawning. It's Mountain Drake. This Drake is actually really important. I know that TD Poro probably has to give this up, but it feels bad giving up a Mountain Drake. Meanwhile, JFK is trying to get solo killed again, and it's gonna absolutely happen. Ignite coming through the Q once again for the 3rd time. Top lane is just such a mess.
I think at this point, if you're JFK, you need to put your timers on. You have to identify, like, hey, is his Ignite up? Is it not up? Because, like, you're losing every fight if his Ignite is up.
Also, just the raw abandon to just run at that tower whenever Pantheon comes back with items is a lot of something. A lot of top laner energy is what I'll say.
I know you got time and space that they can just like kind of give this dragon, but if you're just gonna give dragon, take something with it. And
It's just they can't do it because Mundo blew his load early and tried to take top tower whenever he couldn't. So there's no pressure to be had without the Mundo.
there's definitely plenty of vision on that bot side jungle.
Oh, the hook
There's
comes through again!
solid hook.
Red Face Beast is in a lot of trouble. The Nautilus holds perfectly with the MF ult, but saved by the first item. Meanwhile, Torden in a lot of trouble, getting a lot of damage on Hoodie. But here's JFK, and JFK beats Torden whenever there's no Ignite. However, there's no CC! So Torden just jumps out, and JFK once again fails to get the kill onto Torden, which is a 400 gold shutdown, by the way. Nice dodge from
dodging from
Decipher. Okay, Husky needs to be a little careful. They can and will tower dive at this moment. This is a lot of Void Grubs targeting this tower as well. but the wave clears enough to prevent the tower from falling. Meanwhile, Verinda is having solo time with that tower bot lane. Probably feels pretty good.
I mean, this is what you want.
Mm-hmm. What is going on top lane? Oh, the root means a lot of damage. This tower has to fall now because of that. Hoodie's trying to defend it, but you have no MF. It's gonna go down. Now Decipher's on the wrong side of a dead tower. There's so much CC, no hook is gonna save you. Decipher goes down purely because he wanted to defend a tower that was at 1 health. But Verinda does get the bot tower, so in terms of objectives, pretty even. Just a little bit of a misstep from Decipher.
I think right now you're also seeing that little bit of a gold shift. RAWR's 2K up, and you're kind of seeing it a little bit more now, especially on specific players because Lux is up 5-0.
As of Medjay's, by the way, which is absolutely insane. I don't think I would ever buy Medjay's in this spot, but that's why I'm not a mid laner trying to carry my team. Okay, wait, Doki might get spotted out here. Just a ward right now, so they don't know what's going on. Zyra kind of gives them away. There's no plans to block the hook. Meanwhile, GFK, once again, just destroying Torden until Torden solo kills him? I don't know. Top lane's weird. He picks up the thing. It actually gets the shutdown for the first time. Meanwhile, Nyla's jumping in. The Lux ult kind of hits Decipher, so they have to back up a little bit. But now Lux is low, so I'm not sure if the siege is going to continue. But Torden gave a shutdown to Mundo, and that seems like the turning of the corner that JFK needed for this matchup.
I mean, if I'm JFK here, I'm telling the bot lane, like, dude, just don't die. Let me get this tower. It'll be net positive. Yep. We can move forward from here. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. They're letting him recall. Mundo's going to take that tower, and it's going to shift that gold.
Yeah, okay, so I don't understand top lane. I don't get it, but there's no way that Torden solo kills JFK again, right? Surely.
I think
JFK, get out of there! You did your job!
It's exactly what happens when they don't have Ignite. It's just going to go back and forth or get a gank. I would very much like to see a solid Malzahar ult follow-up with somebody else, but we haven't had the chance in a team fight for it to really do what it needs to be.
I'm also interested in Doki flanks because they haven't happened because we've been mostly on TD Poro's side of the river. But as these dragons stack up and the pressure mounts on TD Poro to do something about it, Doki might get a really good position. Also, Richter is kind of staying out a long time at low health.
It looks like they're just making that movement for that Baron. A little bit top side. Doki's a little bit on the wrong side of that map, but I guess Nyla would
surely Richter recalls soon, right? Dragon's spawning soon. He does have teleport, so it's not the end of the world. But if he does not time this right or get a good TP in, it's a really awkward dragon fight.
I think they're looking to flip here. I think they know that they have vision on the head.
And Nyla's on the top side of the map. Richter's showing half health past the riverside. Meanwhile, both teams are just kind of focused on the top side. They don't care about dragon at all. Doki's got a really good flank, though. All right, Doki found out by Hoodie, neither willing to commit. Decipher looking to maybe change that, but Richter's coming. Still half health, by the way. Doki not able to get on the MF, just on Decipher. Maokai committed just for that, so Decipher will fall. But that was a lot of ultimates used just for the support and a dragon they probably already could get. Meanwhile, Torden is in a lot of trouble under his own tower. They actually recall the Nyla to be able to deal with that. I doubt that TD Poro will call that out because they won't see it until the dragon's almost done.
And there's no real wards to get vision on that side, and JFK can't provide value.
Okay, second dragon for RAWR. They still have a gold lead, although it's very slight. You have to think that Mundo is going to be able to make this game all about him. So the question is, can RAWR stack up that Mountain Soul before Mundo's able to make it hurt? Okay, Decipher looking for one of those hooks that he's really done well with in the second game. Mundo going bot lane now makes a lot of sense. Get some pressure on towers that are worth a lot of gold that are easier to get. Plus, the Baron's up, not the dragon. So, pressure the opposite side of the map. But Torden is alone in the top lane. They're finally sending Malzahar to deal with it. I think Mundo will be fine in that matchup, but I could see Torden also solo killing her if she does not play extremely safely.
I think right now I want to see TD in the mid, push mid, and then if they want to get an objective,
Okay,
swing
Doki flank's
around.
pretty good. The ult's coming out. Husky is not able to dodge it. The ultimate from Lux means that absolutely she will go down. Decipher goes down next, and it's going to be a Baron start. Mundo's on the opposite side of the map. Decipher actually escapes for a long time. Should they be chasing this, or should they be starting Baron? They do finally kill Decipher. Meanwhile, Malzahar and Hoodie able to stack up on Torden and kill him. So the Baron attempt's not looking that likely. They'll probably just go mid Dr. Mundo on the top, or bot tower. So it's going to be a tower trade at least. And Doki got the flank that was really good, but I'm not sure if it's going to be the same massive reward that it was in the second game.
I think
There's no flank here. A lot of CC just used right there on nothing. Lunar's in a lot of trouble, but no damage follow-ups. It's all good. Okay. That damage is really fun for Lunar, I'm sure. Meanwhile, Rukter cannot hold this Mundo, but Mundo tinking the tower probably isn't smart either. Although no one accused. Oh, wait, this flank on the red buff. Decipher might fall into a trap if he's not careful. Finds them out. This is 4 versus 3. Mundo could also come from the side. Doki's trying to get this ward. What are you doing trying to get that ward? That's very dangerous. Decipher here. Hoodie taking a lot of damage, but you have to remember, Mundo does not go for it, though. He's doing things in the bot lane instead. So they will just both quietly slip out in the middle of the night. Decipher playing a little bit with fire. Maokai ult coming pretty far away. They should be able to plan this correctly. But MF still gets hooked up by it and dies for just getting hit by the Maokai ult that they saw coming.
I mean, if you're PD Poro, you need to stand in front of that so that MF does not get hit by that ult, especially since you're right next to it and you're going to get hit anyways.
Mundo teleporting bot lane, and I believe they're sending Pantheon to match. So it will be the Baron for RAWR, almost certainly. I don't think that the Mundo TP is really going to get much here, right? JFK just matches up, gets the minions in, but then Baron gets taken so they can all match him.
It's enough. I mean, he goes to fight him, but he has Ignite.
Wait, actually, Torden might win this. I said he wouldn't solo kill JFK, but here he is, absolutely demolishing him. The Q damage is not enough yet. So it won't be a solo kill, but damn, that looked close. I don't know. I wanted TD Poro to like slow the game down and let Mundo scale, but this game has just become a giant mess. 24 Magi stacks on Lux.
Lux has been doing really well. Lux was the pick in that scenario. It did, it counters Malzahar fairly well. And then some of the ults have been phenomenal. Like that last one that was in the mid lane that hit everybody that it needed to hit. And it was max range. So
this is going to be the third dragon for either team. And the third dragon's where you really start to get nervous. You give up the first 2 mountain drakes, you're like, we scale. A little bit of armor and MR is not that big of a threat. But this dragon, whenever RAWR has Baron, it's really scary, especially since JFK does not have teleport. So he is just openly saying, I don't care about dragon.
Yeah, I think especially with the amount of vision that RAWR has this game, it definitely shows that it's like, hey, this is our map.
Oh, MF's caught again. She's absolutely dead. And that is the final stack on Lux Magi's. Hoodie finding Doki. I'm not sure that he wants to, though. That might be another kill for them. JFK gets ignited. Walks away from it. Walks back in because, of course, Mundo things. Stun. They get the inhibitor tower. But I think that Torden's going to go down here. Once again, the solo kill. Meanwhile, inhibitor goes down. Mundo has no TP, so we'd have to recall if he wants to go for it. Dragon's still up, by the way. So they took inhibitor rather than dragon, which I think is the correct call. But it does lead to this weird spot where they need to answer Mundo, and they haven't secured their third dragon yet.
I think it's
And they're not
almost an
doing
even
either.
trade.
They're not doing either. People are canceling recalls. Nyla's gonna get caught with the flash from Decipher, but there's no follow-up yet. Malzahar's coming. Veranda's here. The suppression. Luxolt misses somehow because, I don't know, layers or something. Hook comes in again. Veranda's gonna get the kill. Wow, that was really close. And Mundo gets the inhibitor during all of that. So once again, they did not answer Mundo. They did not get the dragon. All right, they finally send someone for Mundo. They are starting the dragon. Hoodie would just have to hope for a steal here. I think that it'd be a little hard to win the fight before the dragon goes down, but Lunar is pretty low. MF holds everyone. Doki is not able to tank everything, surely. And now the Veranda flash in just to make sure Lunar Paul goes down so there's no damage to answer Hoodie. Maokai ult has killed MF before, but I don't think it will. This time Maokai gets it! Amazing steal, but he will die for it, and that's not what you want to see whenever you're raw. You should have had that dragon. You should have had it in hit for free. Lux gets a kill randomly, by the way. But yeah, you should have had that inhib for free. You should have had that dragon, and now you're missing a top inhib.
Having that top inhib positions them for that Baron take later in the game with that wave constantly pushed out. But mid's also pushed out.
Is he dead? Husky just dies to the 25 stack Medjais. There's nothing you can do if you get hit by that. And I don't know, having to dodge a red line to that degree is really scary, but JFK is looking to take some stacks off that book. There's too much CC, however. Yes, Rutger doesn't do that much damage. Wait, it's just so much damage to flash forward the root. Oh, there's so much CC, but it's still Mundo. He's gonna get the final cleaver and the auto attack. 1,000 gold to JFK, and it's absolutely 100%, 1,000% worth it.
Mundo just does Mundo things.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, there goes Medjai stacks, down to 17 now. Which, still worth it as an item. And there's nothing up, so it's like, not the worst death, but it sure feels bad to be in a 1v4 situation, or in the 4v1 situation, CCing Mundo, walking away under your own tower and still dying. Like, what is that champion?
Yeah. And I think at this point, with just the one inhib up for both teams, if you're just allocating your carries to soak up that extra economy, you're gonna be in a better spot. But who do you give it to? Do you give it to the MF? Do you give it to Mouse? Do you give it to Lux or Nyla?
And this would be a pretty big upset, by the way, if TD Poro is able to beat RAWR. RAWR is the favorite
Reigning
team.
champion.
They're the top team. They've lost one game, not one match, one game in all 3 weeks so far.
Well, they did lose one additionally today.
Yes, and they have lost one so far, which is already a pretty big upset, but they might lose the entire match if they cannot secure the soul. Malzahar teleporting to try to get some kind of flank onto Doki. Doki, the flank master, getting flanked on. There's no follow-up here yet. Zyra is on the way. Here's Nyla. Maokai ult coming out once again. There is a Malzahar shield, however, so it's not that scary. Hoodie not tanky enough to really tank. All this with the flash ward from Nyla is massive. The Zyra ult doesn't get anything but damage, but it's enough. And the flank onto Doki doesn't quite work out. He's too good at flanks.
I think Hoodie gets out of there. Mundo takes
Why
tower.
Bot lane. He's just tanking the tower. He's just... No, JFK, you can't do that. You can't do it. Walk away. Stop it.
Mundo does Mundo things. I mean,
This is
he's got
ridiculous.
so much lifesteal now.
He's up
I
2
don't-
levels, by the way. Alright, they send 2 to deal with him, so RAWR is unlikely to start Baron anytime soon. But Soul is spawning in 2 minutes. That inhibitor should be up, I believe, like 30 seconds before Dragon spawns. So it really is gonna be interesting. Oh, the bush here also interesting, but they're on a ward, so everyone knows where RAWR is. They're still pinged onto Baron. Nyla has to match through mid. Not going to be spotted out, however, and JFK is just going to take the tower here. They're on the Baron. RAWR's on the Baron. I'm going to watch that for a little bit. Okay, so JFK is trying to take the inhibitor. Baron is at half.
I think they showed for 2. They know that they're on Baron. They're
JFK will die
transitioning.
here. They get both things here, right? They get the Baron, and here comes the fight. Hoodie coming in to try to steal, but he has lost this before. Meanwhile, Doki's stunned. They get the steal, and Doki's in trouble. The R on Desire means that damage is not there. Husky gets to walk away, and Doki goes down. They get the Baron. They get top inhib is pressuring. You can see that there's not super minions in the minion wave top lane right now, so the inhibitor will respawn. But Dragon is up. JFK will be up with teleport whenever it's up, and they get an extra little tower with this Baron.
I think that was a critical play. Like, they saw that 2 people would respond to Mundo. They're like, wait, if they're doing Baron, there's only 3 of them there.
Oh, now he's coming in, however. Verinda walks away, has no R button. Decipher is a little bit low, but it's still just a Nautilus, so they can't quite kill him. Verinda just barely out of range, so they stop the inhibitor take, but TD Poro is definitely just going to walk back and try to take this dragon.
I think this is the smart play. You pull out, take the resources that you need, take the jungle, take Dragon, play it slow, right? Because you have Mundo, you have MF, you have all these really, really late game stuff.
And there's no answer for RAWR. I mean, Baron's down. They just lost it. You can't take the mid inhib. Dragon's going to be down for quite a while. And this Mundo continues to be more and more unstoppable.
I mean, look at him. Look at what he's got.
6,400 health. 6,400 health. Our producer mentioned something very interesting. Down to 7 stacks on Medjai's, which I believe is just barely at the break-even point, but at the point where you could replace it with a full item instead of just the gold sync that it is not doing as well as you would want for that item slot.
I think they're gonna get this top tower pretty safe to say. Now with this Baron buff and so many resources being sent to JFK.
Yeah, Doki looking to flank on JFK. Might just be farming Gromp. Might just be a nice little farm, but Redface Beast is getting a little too personal. I don't think you have the CC to walk up that much. And they have to walk away. So not answering the Mundo, or answering the Mundo this hard means that the mid lane goes down. But Hoodie's getting a little too attractive. How is Husky going to get away from this? He doesn't. He's rooted. Nyla is coming. Here comes the Nyla ult. It absolutely destroys Husky. Zyra ult is going to finish off the Cypher. And now it's just Udyr and Mundo trying to finish off some inhibs. But they lost their carries.
Here
goes down Hoodie.
Hoodie spawned Udyr. Udyr just runs away.
Okay, I guess I'm wrong. Sorry, Udyr just runs away. Verinda spotted out by a sapling. There's not quite enough damage to be able to do anything for either side, so they back off. Meanwhile, Mundo doing Mundo things against the bot lane.
I mean, Hoodie needs to be careful there, especially with Pantheon. Just one good spear when he's low enough, he's out.
Can Richter and Lunar even answer this? I know Nyla's coming, but this inhibitor looks like it's falling. I don't know if JSK is going to fall for the response of it. Nyla does not have ultimate, so she's kind of just sitting there auto-attacking a target that doesn't care. JFK walks back! He just walks back! He might even just damage Lunar enough! This is insane!
The ego
JFK,
on this
stop
right
it!
now.
This is illegal! Gets the hard steel stack! Lunar has to flash! Torridon is finally here to bring some damage to it, but Mundo doesn't care. Level 3 ultimate's too powerful. They finally kill him. Lunar barely lives with Flash. I think that JFK got a little greedy. He definitely could have just taken the inhibitor, but you can't blame him. I mean,
JFK, I mean, yeah, Mundo and definitely a little bit of ego there. He was like, hey, I'm going to step back into this because he's like, I'm going to limit test. I'm going to see what's up. I think right now we're going to stall point.
She can replace the item soon if she wants to. 11 stacks, however, is at that point where you're like, it is just raw AP, but that AP is damn good. Meanwhile, Mundo, I mean, I don't even know what he does here, right? He sold his boots already. I'm pretty sure the item, maybe you, I don't know. Sunfire seems really good. So does the other second Sunfire, Thornmail. Maybe you get rid of Thornmail. I mean, who's auto-attacking you that much and who's life-stealing that much? Oh, and he does that just as I say it. It's kind of funny. Okay.
I think right now you've got Pantheon that's going
the Swifties! I really like the Swifties. I mean, maybe there's a movement speed item that's better, like Deadman's Plate, but Swifties is just kind of funny. Okay, Doki trying to get this crab. Will lose it to Hoodie. They decide not to pursue further charges, but they are 3 inhibs down, and a Mundo with TP walking down bot lane whenever Baron's up in 1 minute, and Soul is up in 1 minute. This is Soul for both teams. Do they trade it? Decipher's actually kind of caught here. Rooted is going to be able to hook out, so it's just Maokai ult for nothing. Meanwhile, Verinda, I don't know if this is what you want. She face checks everybody, flashes out, but the Zyra ult, the Lux ult means that she's dead. Mundo's going to try to do something, but both objectives are spawning, and you're down. Malzahar, yes, she has teleport, but that's a 60-second cooldown. What did they decide to go for? Did they go for Soul or did they go for Baron? Meanwhile, JFK trying to 1v5 literally. Just walks away for now, but I'm telling you, he's thinking about 1v5ing. Hoodie on the Baron side.
I just don't think they have enough damage between Udyr and MF to actually clear the Baron. They've got too much vision, they'll respond to it. Somebody's gonna get caught out here.
They don't even know that the ward is there, so they can't bait it properly. They're trying to anyways. Doki. They actually get the bait off, but JFK is 1v2ing her, by the way, just for fun. I want to watch this other fight, though. What's going on here? Hoodie is in a lot of trouble. Nautilus ult is pretty nice. MF ult just to make sure Doki doesn't get away with it too much. Dr. Mundo did die while I was watching that. Lux ult gets a lot of targets, has to flash out. Decipher walking away, so Dr. Mundo goes down, and they're definitely going to get the Baron for RAWR. Or they're actually deciding on Soul.
I mean, Soul's critical here, especially for Maokai. He just wants to be a bigger tank.
Nexus Tower falls, by the way. So it's actually Nyla going back in the base. If TD Poro get a whiff of this, they could contest. And they're thinking about it because Nyla has shown. This dragon is going down pretty slowly. Ruptor does not have mana, by the way. Ridiculous to not have mana this late in the game. Kind of a crazy situation to be in. Hoodie has to walk around so far. Brenda has no health. She can R for about 0.1 seconds, and then she will die. MF ult is not up, so she is just an auto attacker, not where MF wants to be. Lux has ult or mana now. I'm not sure where she just pulled that mana out of her pocket. Hoodie cannot even look for the steal because he will die. So they get the soul onto RAWR, and Decipher, I don't think the hook is going to be good, but the JFK teleport can walk through the Maokai, can walk through the Lux ult. Zyra ult is not going to stop them. Lux ult maybe gives them some pause, but they pick up the Zyra.
I think that was a good switch for them. RAWR definitely got what they needed out of that. Do we get a...
JFK.
JFK, just huge amount of health.
Alright, inhibitors should be respawning soon. I believe this one... Yeah, this wave. So Baron's up. All inhibitors respawned. Mundo is a monster. However, the rest of TD Poro is not feeling so good into the Lux ult, who now has 13 Magi stacks and is electing to keep the stacks.
Yeah, I thought for sure she was going to sell it. I was like, hey, if you're down that much, might as well flip it to something else.
But he decides that he can land the ultimates, and lands the ultimates he does. Hoodie looking to maybe rush this on Vision, so RAWR should know, but they're having to send 2 people to answer JFK. They do commit to this. Zyra is also there, so they're targeting the Baron. JFK knows that he's on a suicide mission. He's absolutely okay with dying here. Lux might try to go for the steal. Doki certainly will. JFK taking forever to die, almost as long as the Baron. Stunned. Finally dead to Zyra, and Lux steals the Baron! So it's a suicide mission for nothing! Unlucky.
Big swing. Big swing.
So that's Soul for RAWR. That's Baron for RAWR. There are less structures for RAWR, but I don't believe that Mundo has the same threat power that he did earlier in the game. I mean, yeah, it did just take 4 people to stop him. But if you can send 3 people to stop Mundo and still win the Baron fight and leave TD Poro running away with low health bars, speaking of which, Hoodie playing a little bit with fire. Lux ult misses. I mean, you've got to imagine that this gets really rough really quickly. You might end the game before JFK even responds. There's a lot of ultimates down. MF ult's down. So I don't know how this is going to go. Maokai ult's going to come in. Decipher can't get anything because he's hooked. So is MF. MF's looked up by Nyla, and they're going to get the Nexus. And RAWR wins the game on the back of Lux.
I think Lux was the critical pick there. I think that the amount of range that the cash potential of all that, they did the comp. Their comp did exactly what it wanted it to do. They wanted to catch somebody out. They wanted to hit them with whatever they can possibly do. They played it well. And JFK did exactly what we thought he was going to do, right? Be the bully, take it away in top lane.
Yeah, I mean, he got solo killed multiple times top lane and said, "I'm Dr. Mundo, I don't care. I'm still gonna make your team cry for about 20 minutes straight." But at the end of
Well,
the day, Richter was just able to win fights whenever the rest of his team was off doing Mundo things. Doki was able to find some really good ultimates that Husky got caught in. And it's really hard because whenever you have a Mundo split push, you need to stop the engage from the enemy team. But whenever you're talking about them getting soul, you have to go in. Whenever you're talking about Maokai, it's just a mess. And Richter was just able to delete Husky multiple times whenever Maokai didn't even get the ultimate.
yeah, if
So
you're in
it was
those
just a
team
really hard
fights,
game to play as TD Poro.
MF got caught multiple times on snares, on uncc'd ults, and died. So if you're on MF, you have that movement speed. You should look to dodge, move away from things. Also, post game damage, Pantheon, 70k.
That's
Just
ridiculous. I wasn't looking at that for a second.
if you're brawling against Mundo, I guess you're gonna get as much damage you possibly can. But
man, I think that the game was so close. There were just a few key decision points. Like they were steals from both sides. Doki stole a dragon, and Rookter stole a baron, and then Hoodie stole a dragon. So like, it's just a really close game. One or two decisions. I think the draft was really well done from both sides. Yes, you could have banned Rookter Lux, and it probably would have been a very different game because obviously Lux did a lot that game. But the main idea of TD Poro's draft was there. It almost worked. It just wasn't quite enough. And that means RAWR stays on top, undefeated. This is their second game, but wins the match.
I mean, TD pulled out one of their losses. Got one win on them, which is good. I think it shows a lot
I
of
think
movement.
it still is an upset for sure that they won that game, and they won it in a very nice way early. Just work on your mid game. I mean, both games really. Usually at this level, it's like work on your laning, but both games 100% came down to T Poro not quite being able to play that mid to late game up to the level that RAWR was on.
Yeah. And if I'm going to give MVP for this game, for game 3, it definitely goes to Lux. Just caught
I mean,
so
Tournament was
many
definitely
people out.
putting it in there. And for the match, I mean, Doki did some amazing engages for sure. I mean, every player on RAWR just did a lot. But yeah, I agree that for this game, Richter shined off with a fully stacked Magi's at about 20 minutes and then continued to stack it over and over again. Had some ultimates that just blew up MF. Did not look
blew
fair.
up a lot of the team as well. Just,
Yeah.
I mean, he hit everything he possibly could in that game. And got to commend him for it.
And you know what Doki is for the team other than just their jungler that engages? He's also the coach. And if you want a coach like Doki, or maybe a different one that uses Flash, you can go to coachify.gg because it's a platform for esport coaches and it allows them to track their students and grow their business. There's 0 commissions, it's free to join, course tracking, PayPal integration. So, you can have a coach and then you can pay them through PayPal. That coach doesn't have to pay any commissions. It's overall pretty great. And that is why they are our sponsor.
Love that.
I am glad that we got to see some bloody games. I mean, game 1 looked about what we expected for these two teams. But game 2 and 3, both teams absolutely delivered and they show room to grow. I really, really want to see Hoodie in the way that he improves because his jungle pathing and his choices have really given his team a lot of chances. And then JFK, I mean, every game JFK is huge no matter what happens at the end of the game. So I expect to see a lot more from TD Poro, but RAWR's just undefeated. And they will continue to be undefeated until someone figures out how to stop Doki. So
technically they do have 2 losses.
Okay, well,
So
I meant
not
okay, fair
undefeated,
enough. Alright, they have had their nexus explode twice.
but they are definitely on the top of the board. They are the highest seed for all 4 teams. And I
Yeah,
mean, it's shown between Doki's and Gage's and the team comp that he has around them that they have more than one playstyle. The first game, they had very much an engaged team comp. They went in, they did what they needed to do, and it showed. And game 3, they had very much a catch comp. They just caught him every time.
yep.
And they played both styles very well. And I commend them for that. And I think for any team that's going to go up against them consistently, they need to identify, all right, it's like, hey, what is Doki's team trying to do? How do we counter that? And not focus on playing it like, oh, I'm going to pick this champion because it beats this champion. It's not. It's clearly that not always the case. And especially if you're not going to get counter pick all the time, you can't rely on it. You really need to think it through. It's clear that Doki has enough flexes that you can't really focus them down like that. So,
Yep.
for every team going forward, that's my advice and recommendation.
Thank you for guesting for us, Rex. It was really
Happy to be
awesome
here.
having you here. And I
Chat
bet
got a little wild at the beginning. I'm sorry.
you know you might have some DMs and some other stuff to deal with, but you could
All
just say
good.
it was an AI fake. So this isn't real
Yeah,
you,
this is
right?
a deep
Surely.
fake.
Anyways, thank you guys for showing up. Thank you to Rex again. Thank you for Fish for producing everything and Soulkeeper, as always. And we will either see you tomorrow if you want to watch the other leaks, or next week for more Arbiter.
Like crisscross, got the gold chain and the wristwatch. Pull up on the scene like a big shot. EDM and hip hop, cause my style. I gotta follow my vision, no time for daydreams. All my brothers get money, we call it gangrene. Just another day with our focus still on the same thing.